Look at me, my child. Do not let your eyes wander now, because this is the moment I have been waiting for with you. You did not find this message by accident, and you are not here by chance. I brought you here because your heart is standing at a sacred threshold, and what happens in these next moments can shift more than you realize. So stay with me. Do not rush this. Do not treat this like just another video, another voice, another passing word in a crowded day. Listen carefully, because I am speaking directly into the place where you have been tired, distracted, and quietly searching for something real. Watch until the end, because I did not interrupt your day to leave you unchanged. If you stay, you will hear what your soul has been aching for. If you walk away too soon, you may miss the very moment heaven arranged for you. Look at me, my child. Slow down for a moment and stay here with me, because this is not something I want you to rush through. I know how easy it is for your mind to keep moving, for your thoughts to jump ahead, for your heart to stay guarded because life has taught you to expect interruption, disappointment, and noise. But this moment is different, and deep inside, you already feel that. You may not fully understand why your attention stopped here, why something in you softened just enough to listen, or why these words feel heavier than ordinary words. That is because I am the one meeting you here. You did not arrive at this moment by accident, and you are not simply crossing paths with another message. I brought you here because I have been waiting for this exact moment with you. I've watched you move through days that felt too full and nights that felt too empty. I have seen you carry conversations with other people while holding completely different conversations inside your own heart. I have seen the way you keep going when you are tired, the way you stay quiet when you want to fall apart, the way you try to make sense of things that never gave you clear answers. And through all of that, I have been near, closer than you realized, more involved than you knew. Even when your life felt ordinary, even when your faith felt weak, even when your attention was pulled in every direction, I was still guiding you toward this meeting. There are moments in your life that seem small on the outside but carry something sacred underneath, and this is one of them. I am not here to pressure you. I am here because I want your full heart for just a little while. I want you to know that I still know how to reach you. I still know how to get through the noise around you and the noise within you. I still know how to touch the part of you that has been quietly longing for something real. So do not treat this as random, and do not dismiss what you feel right now. This is not coincidence. This is care. This is intention. This is my love making its way into the middle of your day so I can remind you that I have not lost sight of you. Not for 1 second. I have been waiting for this moment with you, not because I was far away and finally arrived, but because I have been beside you all along, patiently waiting for the moment your heart would be still enough to notice my presence again. Stay with me here, my child, and let me speak to the places in you that have felt unseen for far too long. I want you to understand something that can change the way you carry your life from this moment forward. Nothing about your journey has been hidden from me. I have not only seen the obvious things that others could notice. I have seen what never made it into words. I have watched you hold yourself together in rooms where you felt like breaking. I have watched you answer people with a calm voice while your thoughts were heavy and your heart was asking questions you were too tired to explain. I know the private weight you have been carrying. I know the moments when you smiled because you did not want to burden anyone. I know the late hours when your mind would not quiet down and your body was still, but your soul felt like it was pacing in circles. Let that sink in. Do not brush past it. Let yourself be known by me right now. You have spent so much time trying to survive what was in front of you that you forgot I was reading what was underneath it all. I saw the disappointment you swallowed. I saw the prayers you whispered without confidence. I saw the days when you questioned whether your effort mattered, whether your endurance meant anything, whether I was still paying attention. I am. I have been watching every part of your road with a love that never drifted, never got distracted, never grew tired of you. Even when you felt like a candle flickering in a cold room, I was guarding the flame. Even when your life felt like a long hallway with no open door in sight, I was already at the far end preparing the next room for you. So come closer now. Stop measuring your worth by who noticed your pain or who failed to understand your silence. Look at me instead. Let me be the one who tells you the truth about your journey. You were never abandoned in it. You were never ignored in it. You were never carrying it alone, even when it felt like your own shadow was the only thing walking beside you. I want you to receive this deeply, because where I am taking you next requires you to stop living as though you have been forgotten. You have not been forgotten. You have been followed by my attention, covered by my mercy, and held inside my care every single day. Breathe now. Let your shoulders soften. Let your heart come out of hiding. I know you completely, and I am still here, still speaking, still drawing you near because I want you to feel what it means to be fully seen and still fully loved. Now listen carefully, because I want to reshape the way you see the season you have been walking through. You have called it delay. You have looked at the closed doors, the unanswered prayers, the long stretches of waiting, and you have wondered why life felt like it kept moving around you while you stood in the same place, trying to understand what I was doing. I know how that felt to you. I know how frustrating it was to watch other people step into things you hoped for while you were still trying to make peace with silence. I know how easy it became for you to question your timing, your choices, even your value. But I need you to hear me clearly now. What felt like delay to you was often my protection, my preparation, and my patience working together for your good. You were not standing still in the way you thought. You were being shaped. You were being strengthened in places no one else could see. You were learning how to carry what you once begged for but were not yet ready to hold. Come closer and think about it with me. If I had opened certain doors too early, you would have walked through them with a heart still too wounded, too rushed, too dependent on the wrong voices, too unsure of who you are in me. If I had handed you the answers before your inner life was steady enough, you would have mistaken a blessing for pressure and a calling for a burden. I was not keeping good things from you. I was keeping you from stepping into them too soon. I was teaching you how to wait without losing yourself. I was teaching you how to listen beneath the noise. I was teaching you how to recognize my voice when nothing around you looked impressive. That is why this moment matters so much. This is not just another point in your story. This is a meeting I have been preparing while you were learning, grieving, healing, and growing. Let go of the thought that the waiting was wasted. Release it now. Stop calling yourself late. Stop naming yourself overlooked. Look at the road again, but this time look at it through my eyes. The quiet seasons built your roots. The disappointments refined your discernment. The slow progress deepened your dependence on me. What looked empty was full of hidden work. What looked like silence was full of my hands moving behind the curtain. So stay with me in this understanding and receive it fully. I did not delay this moment because I forgot you. I prepared this moment because I love you too much to let it arrive before your heart was ready to truly meet me in it. Now come closer, my child, because this is where your healing begins to turn. I want you to notice what your eyes have been fixed on lately. You have been staring at the storm so long that it has started to feel more real to you than my presence. You have been reading the faces of people, measuring the weight of your problems, replaying the words that hurt you, scanning the future for signs of danger, and listening to the noise around you until your spirit has grown tired from carrying what your eyes keep feeding your heart. So I am asking you for something simple, but holy. Look at me. Not because your pain is imaginary, not because your situation does not matter. I know exactly how real it is. I know the pressure, the uncertainty, the ache, the questions. I know how quickly fear can rise when life feels unstable. But I also know what happens to your soul when you keep bowing your attention toward the waves instead of lifting your gaze toward the one who still walks on them. So pause right here. Take a breath. Stop scanning the horizon for what might go wrong. Stop reaching for every answer at once. Stop giving your deepest focus to what has been draining you. Turn your face toward me. Let your thoughts come back into my hands. Let your heart settle near my voice. When you look only at the storm, everything feels urgent, sharp, and louder than it really is. It is like standing in a dark room where one cracked window keeps rattling in the wind, and after a while you start believing the whole house is about to collapse. But when you look at me, the room changes. The light changes. The meaning of what you are facing begins to change. The storm may still be outside, but it no longer gets to define the atmosphere within you. That is what I want for you now. I want your inner world to be governed by my peace, not by your panic. I want your breathing to slow. I want your thoughts to stop racing ahead of grace. I want you to feel the steadiness of my hand again. So listen to me and obey this gently, but fully. Lift your eyes. Bring me the fear you have been rehearsing, and me the worst-case stories you have been carrying in secret. Invite me into the places where your mind has been running in circles. Let me interrupt that cycle. Let me become bigger to you again than the thing that has been frightening you. I am not asking you to deny the storm. I am asking you to stop worshiping it with your attention. Look at me, my child. Stay there. Keep your eyes here. The waves do not get the final word. I do. And now that your eyes are turning back to me, do not keep this light to yourself, my child. What I am awakening in you is not only for your peace, but for the healing of many who are still drowning in the storm you are learning to rise above. When you give, you are sowing seeds of light into hearts that have forgotten how to look at me. I've said, give, and it will be given to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, and I am speaking that over you even now. If your heart feels the pull to help this word reach further, that is me inviting you into my work. Through your super thanks, your membership, or your offering through the PayPal link in the description, you become a vessel through which my voice travels. This is not a small act. It is a divine partnership. I will breathe on what you release and multiply it beyond what you can see. So do not hesitate. Give now, and let your obedience become someone else's answered prayer. Stay in this place with me, because I want to show you something tender and true. Long before your mind understood what was missing, your heart had already begun reaching for this moment. You may have called it exhaustion. You may have called it confusion, loneliness, frustration, or spiritual dryness. You may have tried to explain it away as stress, disappointment, or just another hard season. But beneath all of that, there was a deeper ache moving through you, and I have known it the whole time. You have not only wanted solutions, you have wanted closeness. You have not only wanted change around you, you have wanted peace within you. You have not only wanted answers for your life, you have wanted to feel held again, know again, steady again. That is why I brought you here. This is not simply a message arriving at the right time. This is the answer to a longing you have been carrying without fully naming it. So do not rush past this realization. Let it touch you. Let it become personal. The restlessness you have been feeling was not random. It was like hearing footsteps outside a locked door and not knowing who was coming, only sensing that someone was near. As someone was me. I have been drawing near to the quietest places in you, the places you do not always show, the places that still feel bruised from disappointment, the places that became cautious after being let down too many times. And now I am asking you to stop resisting what your soul has been asking for. Stop reaching for substitutes. Stop trying to numb what only my presence can heal. Stop settling for distractions that entertain your mind but leave your spirit hungry. Open the door. Let me in fully. Receive this moment for what it is. Your heart hath been thirsty, and I am not offering you another temporary comfort. I am offering you myself. Your heart has been standing in a dry field waiting for rain, and I am telling you now that the clouds you sensed gathering were not your imagination. I am here. This is the meeting your spirit has been craving in the middle of all your responsibilities, your worries, your unfinished prayers, and your private fatigue. So soften now. Let your guard come down. Give me your full attention, not because I need performance from you, but because you need the safety of my nearness. I have been waiting for this moment with you because your heart has been waiting too, even when you did not know how to say it. Now that you are here, do not pull away. Stay. Listen. Let this become the place where your soul finally stops wandering and starts resting in me. Come closer, my child, and let me say this in a way your heart can finally believe. I am not speaking to you right now so I can reopen every wound just to make you feel guilty all over again. I am not here to stand over your past and remind you of every wrong turn, every delayed obedience, every place where fear spoke louder than faith, or every season where you drifted farther than you wanted to admit. I know all of it already, and I still chose this moment with you. I still brought you here. I still asked you to look at me. So stop bracing yourself as if my voice is about to crush you. Release that fear. Set it down. Let your shoulders unclench. Let your heart stop flinching from love. You have spent too long expecting correction to come without tenderness, truth to come without safety, and closeness to come with conditions. That may be how people treated you, but that is not how I hold you. I do not deny what happened in your life, and I do not pretend the choices you made or the wounds you carry are insignificant. I simply refuse to let them become the final definition of who you are. When I look at you, I do not see a finished story ruined by mistakes. I see a soul still redeemable, still reachable, still deeply wanted. Think of a window that has been covered by dust after years of storms. The glass is still there. The light can still pass through it. It only needs to be cleaned by the right hands. So let me do that now. Stop hiding behind shame as if it protects you. It does not. It only keeps you from being loved where you most need healing. Bring me the parts of you that still feel embarrassed, the memories you avoid, the places where regret keeps replaying like a song you never asked to hear. Do not edit them before you bring them to me. Do not try to sound spiritual first. Come honestly. Come as you are in this moment. I am not asking you to oppress me. I am asking you to trust me. Let me step into what you have been covering. Let me speak over what has been accusing you. Let me show you that conviction in my hands leads to freedom, not humiliation. I did not call you here to push your face into the dirt. I called you here to lift your face again. I called you here so you would stop confusing shame with holiness and start receiving mercy as the medicine it truly is. So stay near. Listen carefully. I am not here to condemn you. I am here to restore what shame tried to steal from you. Let me love you there, exactly there, in the place you thought was too broken for my presence. Now that your heart is beginning to soften, I want you to understand something that will free you from a burden you were never meant to carry. I did not wait for this moment because I was watching to see whether you could become polished enough, disciplined enough, strong enough, or spiritual enough to finally earn my attention. I have never measured your worth by your performance. I have never sat at a distance keeping score while you tried to prove yourself worthy of my nearness. I have been waiting because I wanted your heart, not your performance. That difference matters more than you realize. You have lived under pressure for so long that even your relationship with me has sometimes felt like another place where you had to get it right, say the right thing, recover quickly, pray correctly, and keep yourself together so you would not disappoint me. But look at me and hear this clearly. I am not asking you to stand before me like a flawless presentation. I am asking you to come to me like a child who is tired of pretending. I do not need your polished version. I want your honest one. I want the version of you that is weary, confused, hopeful, ashamed, trying, failing, healing, and still reaching. That is the one I came for. Imagine carrying a heavy suitcase filled with things you think you need in order to be accepted. Good behavior, self-control, religious effort, appearances, perfect timing, all of it packed tight and dragging behind you. You keep lifting it, shifting it, adjusting it, hoping it makes you look ready. But I never asked you to bring that suitcase. I asked you to bring yourself. So set it down. Stop dragging it into my presence. Stop thinking you need to arrive clean up before you can be close to me. I am the one who does the cleansing. I am the one who does the restoring. I am the one who knows how to untangle what you cannot fix on your own. What I have always wanted is not your image of strength but your real surrender. Open your hands. Release the act. Release the pressure to appear okay. Release the exhausting need to prove that you are improving fast enough to deserve love. Come closer without all of that. Let me meet the real you. Let me teach you what it feels like to be loved before you have everything figured out. This is why I waited. I waited for the moment you would stop offering me only your effort and finally let me have your heart. And now that you are here, do not step back into performance. Stay in relationship. Stay in honesty. Stay where grace can reach you. Stay with me here, my child, because I want to help you understand something that used to look painful but will begin to look holy when you see it through my eyes. There were seasons when you felt like I had gone quiet, and I know how deeply that unsettled you. You prayed, you waited, you looked for signs, and instead of immediate answers, you found distance, loss, closed doors, and the ache of things not turning out the way you hoped. You thought the silence meant absence. You wondered if I had stepped back, if I had stopped moving, if I had somehow left you to figure everything out alone. But I want you to hear me carefully now. I was not absent in those quiet places. I was working in them. I was removing what could not walk with you into what I have prepared. Some people had to leave. Some plans had to fail. Some doors had to stay shut. Some desires had to wait until they lost their power to define you. I know that hurt. I know you took some of those losses personally. I know you asked if you were not enough, if you were too late, if you somehow ruined what could have been. But come closer and let me tell you the truth. Not every loss was rejection. Some of it was rescue. Not every ending was punishment. Some of it was protection. I was clearing the path in ways you could not see. Think of a garden after a long season of wild growth. From a distance it looks full, even beautiful in its own way, but the roots are tangled, the weeds are stealing nutrients, and the healthiest things cannot thrive until a careful hand begins cutting back what does not belong. That is what I was doing in your life. I was pruning what looked familiar but was draining you. I was loosening your grip on what you would have carried too far. I was uncovering where your trust had attached itself to things that could not hold you. So stop calling every closed door a heartbreak without first asking whether it was my mercy in disguise. Stop naming every silence as abandonment. Let me reframe it for you. I was making room. I was making space. I was pulling out what would have poisoned your peace in the next season. I was protecting your heart from attachments that would have delayed your healing. Let this truth settle inside you. Do not cling to what I have already touched and removed. Release it. Open your hands. Bless what had to end, even if it ended painfully. Trust me enough to believe that I do not take without purpose. I clear with intention. I prune with love. I remove with vision. And now that space exists in you, now that certain weights have fallen away, you are beginning to understand why this moment could only happen after those things were gone. What I have removed from your life has made room not only for your healing, but for your assignment, my child. You are not empty. You are being prepared to pour. Just as I prune the branches so they may bear more fruit, I now call you to sow into what carries my voice to others still in their season of loss. I have declared, those who sow in tears shall reap in joy, and your giving in this moment will not return void. When you support this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are planting seeds into fertile ground that will reach souls you may never meet. This is your moment to turn what once felt like loss into a harvest of life for others. I am the one who sees, and I will reward what is done in faith. Do not hold back what I have placed in your hand. Give now, and watch how I transform your obedience into overflow. And now listen very closely, because this is where I need you to trust what I am saying more than what your eyes can currently confirm. You are standing at a threshold, my child. Even if the room around you looks the same, even if your circumstances have not yet shifted in visible ways, even if the same responsibilities are waiting for you after this moment ends. I know how easy it is for you to believe that nothing is changing unless you can point to a dramatic sign, a clear breakthrough, a visible answer, or some sudden event that proves movement has begun. But my deepest work often starts where human eyes are least impressed. That is why I am asking you now, do not judge this moment by appearances. Receive it by faith. Something has already begun. The change you need most does not always start around you. It often starts within you, where your thoughts have been tired, where your hope has been thin, where your spirit has felt cramped by fear, disappointment, and old habits of survival. That inner shift matters more than you realize, because what opens outside you will only remain if something steadier has first opened inside you. So stand still with me for a moment and feel the weight of this. You are not at the end of another cycle. You are at the edge of a new one. It is like standing at dawn while the sky is still mostly dark. If you glance too quickly, you may say night is still in control. But if you stay and watch, you begin to notice the horizon changing in quiet ways. The color softens. The shadows lose authority. The light arrives before the sun is fully visible. That is what this moment is. The light is already touching your horizon. Do not walk away just because noon has not arrived yet. Pay attention. Let your heart become aware of what your eyes have not fully learned to recognize. I want you to stop talking yourself out of sacred beginnings just because they do not look dramatic enough. Stop demanding immediate proof for what I am birthing in you. Instead, breathe deeply and agree with me. Tell your soul to come into alignment. Tell your fear to step back. Tell your old patterns they are no longer in charge. You are standing at a threshold, and I need you to cross it with trust, not hesitation. Walk with me into this. Welcome the invisible shift before you demand visible evidence. This is how new seasons begin in my hands, quietly, deeply, and with more authority than you can yet see. Come closer now, my child, because this part matters more than you realize. I want you to stop for a moment and let me show you what I see when I look at you, because you have been looking at yourself through tired eyes for far too long. You have been measuring yourself by what went wrong, by what did not happen, by what others said, by what you still struggle with, by how long it has taken you to heal, and by how often you have felt like you should be further along than you are. That way of seeing yourself has been stealing your strength. It has been shaping your emotions, your prayers, your expectations, and even the way you receive my love. So let me interrupt that now. Look at yourself through my eyes instead. When I look at you, I do not see a failure trying to recover. I see a person who kept moving through things that should have crushed you. I see tenderness that survived hardness. I see faith that stayed alive under pressure, even when it looked small from your side. I see someone who has carried wounds and still remained reachable. I see someone who had been bruised but not discarded, tired but not empty, delayed but not denied. Let that settle into you. Do not argue with me. Stop resisting the truth, just because shame has been louder in the past. Imagine standing before a mirror that has been warped by years of pain. Every time you looked into it, it bent your reflection, magnified what was broken, and made you forget what was still beautiful. That mirror has lied to you long enough. Step away from it. Come stand before me. Let me become the mirror now. I see courage in places where you call yourself weak. I see endurance where you call yourself behind. I see wisdom growing in the places pain carved out. I see a softness in you that did not disappear, even after life gave you every excuse to harden. That matters to me. Your scars do not make you less worthy of my nearness. In many ways, they are where my light has found its deepest entrance. So receive this, and do not push it away. You are not who your worst moment says you are. You are not who your fear accuses you of being. You are not the sum of your delays, your disappointments, or your doubts. You are still mine. You are still being formed. You are still deeply loved. Lift your face and let me teach you how to see yourself again. Accept my view over your own. Let your inner picture change. If you can begin to see yourself the way I see you, you will stop shrinking in places where I have already called you to stand. Stay with me, because I want you to understand what your own pain has been trying to hide from you. You are not the same person who first stepped into the season that nearly broke you. I know there were moments when it felt like you were only surviving, only enduring, only trying to make it through one more day without falling apart. I know it did not always feel noble or spiritual. Sometimes it felt messy. Sometimes it felt numb. Sometimes it felt like you were crawling through a narrow place with no clear end in sight. But even there, even in the slow and hidden parts, something in you was changing. Something in you was being formed. You may still look at your life and focus on what was lost, what hurt, what took too long, or what still feels unfinished. But I want you to look deeper. Look at who you have become. Look at the strength that did not exist before the pressure came. Look at the discernment you now carry because betrayal taught you how to recognize what is real. Look at the compassion that grew in you because suffering made you gentler with the pain of others. Look at the way you can now sit in hard places without collapsing as quickly as you once would have. That is not nothing. That is transformation. Do not dismiss it just because it came through hardship instead of ease. A tree that has survived a hard winter does not look the same when spring returns. Its bark is rougher, its roots are deeper, and it stands with a quiet strength that did not come from comfort. That is what has happened in you. Your roots have gone deeper. Your soul has learned where true nourishment comes from. You have become less impressed by what glitters and more anchored in what lasts. You may still feel tender in places, and that is all right. Healing and strength can live in the same heart. Do not confuse tenderness with weakness. Do not mistake your scars for failure. They are part of the testimony of who you have become in my hands. So stop speaking to yourself as if you are still the version of you that entered the fire. You are not. Honor the growth. Acknowledge the wisdom. Accept the maturity that has been quietly built in you. Do not rush past what I have formed. The enemy would love for you to remain so focused on the battle that you never notice who emerged from it. But I want you to notice. I want you to own it. I want you to walk forward knowing that the version of you standing here now carries something stronger, steadier, and far more ready than the one who first began this journey. Trust what I have built in you. You are more prepared than you think. Come closer again, my child, because I need to speak gently but clearly to the place in you that keeps turning back toward what wounded you. I know why you do it. I know the mind wants to revisit the betrayal, the disappointment, the silence, the words that cut deeper than anyone realized, and the moments when something precious slipped through your hands. You are not weak for remembering. You are not wrong for feeling the ache when old pain brushes against your present. But I need you to understand something now, because this moment is too important for you to miss. If you keep fixing your deepest attention on what hurt you, you will struggle to recognize what I am setting before you. Pain can become a lens, and when that happens, even good things start looking suspicious. New doors feel dangerous. New people feel hard to trust. Fresh beginnings feel like traps. Even my kindness can feel unfamiliar when your heart has spent too long preparing for disappointment. So listen to me and let me guide you out of that pattern. Do not deny what happened, but do not build your home there. Stop replaying every wound as if understanding it perfectly will somehow free you. Some healing comes not from another round of analysis, but from a new act of trust. Some freedom begins when you finally decide that what happened to you will no longer get to narrate what happens next. Think of someone trying to drive forward while staring only into the rearview mirror. The road ahead may be open, the path may be clear, but the gaze is fixed on what is behind, and that makes even a simple turn feel dangerous. That is what your soul has been doing at times. You have been trying to move ahead while emotionally parked in old places. I am not scolding you for that. I am inviting you out of it. Lift your eyes. Turn your attention. Let me teach your heart how to face forward again. Bring me the memory that still stings. Hand me the fear that says history will repeat itself. Release the instinct that keeps you braced against joy because pain once arrived without warning. I am doing something in front of you now, and I do not want your past to block your view of it. So make room. Breathe deeply. Open your hands and open your sight. You do not need to forget the wound to stop living inside it. Let me lead you beyond it. What I am placing before you deserves your presence, not just your survival. Trust me enough to stop bowing to old pain and start receiving what my love is unfolding in front of you now. As you lift your eyes from what hurt you and begin to see what I am placing before you, do not miss this sacred opportunity, my child. What I am unfolding is bigger than your healing. It is a doorway for others to find me through you. Every act of giving becomes a seed that carries my presence into places your voice alone cannot reach. I've spoken. You are the light of the world, and when you give, that light spreads into unseen corners. If your heart is stirring right now, that is my spirit inviting you to act. Through your super thanks, your membership, or your offering through the PayPal link in the description, you are helping lift the eyes of countless others back to me. I will bless what you release and cause it to multiply like oil that does not run dry. This is not just generosity, it is alignment with my purpose. So step forward in faith, give now, and become part of what I am doing in this very moment. Stay near, because this is where your heart may feel tension, and I want you to hear me with maturity, not fear. I know you want clarity. I know you want details, timing, explanations, and something solid enough to calm every question still moving inside you. You want to know what comes next, how it will happen, who will be part of it, what will change, and when you will finally see with your eyes what you have been carrying in faith. I understand that desire. I do not shame you for wanting to see the road, but I need to tell you something that may stretch you and steady you at the same time. I am asking you for trust before I show you the full picture. That is not because I am withholding goodness from you. It is because trust is part of the way I prepare you to carry what is coming. If I gave you every detail too early, your mind would race ahead, your control would tighten, and your peace would become attached to outcomes instead of my presence. I love you too much to let your security depend on a blueprint more than on me. So come closer and hear the invitation inside this. I am not asking you to walk blindly. I'm asking you to walk closely. There is a difference. Blindness is isolation. Trust is relationship. When you walk with me, you do not need every step revealed at once because you are moving with the one who already sees the whole road. Picture yourself walking through a valley before sunrise. The entire landscape is not visible, but the lantern in your hand gives enough light for the next few steps. You may wish the whole valley were lit, but the light you have is enough to keep moving safely if you will actually use it. That is how my guidance often works. I may not flood the whole path with instant answers, but I will always give you enough for obedience, enough for peace, enough for the next faithful step. So stop demanding certainty before surrender. Release the need to understand everything before you say yes. Lay down the habit of negotiating with me through your fear. Instead, bring me your questions honestly, then stay close enough to hear my direction. Let your trust become active. Move when I nudge you. Pause when I quiet you. Wait without panic when I slow you down. Receive what I reveal without trying to force what I have not yet uncovered. The full picture is coming in my timing, but your peace does not need to wait until then. It can begin now, right here, if you choose closeness over control. Trust me before you understand, and you will discover that my presence can steady you long before my plan is fully visible. Stay with me, my child, because I want you to hear this with humility and hope at the same time. There are things opening now in your life, and the reason they are opening is not because you suddenly became perfect, flawless, or fearless. They are opening because your heart is finally becoming ready in the places that matter most. You have spent so much time thinking readiness was about having every answer, every skill, every resource, every connection, or every visible sign in place. But my definition of readiness reaches deeper than that. I look at your inner posture. I look at whether you can receive without worshiping the gift. I look at whether you can carry increase without losing your peace. I look at whether your heart can stay soft while your life begins to move. That is what has been changing in you. You may not have noticed it fully because the process felt slow and often hidden, but I have been watching it closely. I have seen the way you have become less impressed by what once distracted you. I have seen the way you now recognize what is shallow more quickly than before. I have seen how certain things that once controlled your emotions have started to lose their grip. That is not small. That is preparation. Think of a door that has always been there, but the hinges were rusted and the frame was swollen from years of weather. It was never truly locked. It simply could not open properly until the structure around it was restored. That is what I have been doing in you. I have been restoring the frame. I have been healing the hinges. I have been strengthening what needed to support the weight of what is next. So do not mistake this season for a random shift. Is it a pointed opening? But listen carefully, because this matters. Do not rush toward what is opening with old habits still leading you. Step forward with reverence. Walk in slowly. Let your heart remain anchored in me while new opportunities, deeper peace, clearer direction, and long-awaited movement begin to unfold. Do not clutch at what opens as though it could disappear if you breathe wrong. Receive it with trust. Hold it with open hands. Invite me into every new doorway. Ask me how to steward what you prayed for. Ask me how to remain grounded while things begin to move. This is not only about external doors. Some of what is opening is within you. Confidence you thought was gone. Tenderness you thought was dead. Hope you stopped expecting. Clarity you thought had been delayed forever. To welcome this moment. Say yes to what I am unfolding. Let your heart agree with me. You are not stepping into this because you forced it. You are stepping into it because, in my wisdom, your heart has become ready to carry what once would have overwhelmed you. Now breathe, my child, and let this truth settle deeply into your spirit, because I know how easily you slip back into striving when you sense change is near. You do not need to force what I am already arranging. I want you to hear that slowly and personally. You do not need to manipulate, overwork, over-explain, overthink, overchase, or exhaust yourself trying to hold together what my hands are already setting in place. I know that your past has trained you to believe that if you do not push hard enough, nothing good will stay. I know there were seasons when survival demanded effort, vigilance, and constant emotional readiness. I know you learned to carry the weight because you felt like no one else would. But this next part of your journey cannot be sustained by panic. It must be received through trust. That is why I am asking you now. Loosen your grip. Release the pressure. Stop trying to manufacture in the flesh what I am already forming in the unseen. When you force what I am arranging, you create friction where I intended flow. You invite anxiety into places where I was building peace. You begin pulling on fruit that is still ripening, and then you wonder why it tastes bitter in your mouth. Think of a river after a long dry season. When the rain finally comes in the mountains, the current begins to build upstream long before the person standing on the bank can fully see it. If that person panics and starts digging frantic trenches in every direction, they may miss the simple wisdom of standing still long enough to see where the water is naturally coming. That is what I am teaching you now. Pay attention to my flow. Watch where my peace rests. Notice where grace seems to breathe. Stop trying to make every possibility work. Instead, follow what carries my fingerprint. Let me guide your pace. Move when I say move. Pause when I say pause. Walk through the door I open without trying to kick down 3 others beside it. This is not passivity. This is partnership. Trusting my arrangement still requires your obedience, but it does not require your panic. There is a difference, and you need to learn it now because it will protect your peace in the season ahead. So lay down the frantic energy. Lay down the need to control every outcome. Lay down the fear that tells you if you rest, you will miss your chance. You will not miss what I have written for you when you stay close to me. What is mine for you does not need to be hunted like prey. It needs to be received with discernment, carried with humility, and stewarded with trust. So stop forcing. Come back into alignment. Walk with me instead of running ahead of me. I am already arranging more than you can see. Come closer now, my child, because this is not a small invitation. This is a turning point, and I want you to feel the tenderness and the weight of it at the same time. Let this be the moment you finally stop carrying what I never asked you to hold. You have carried so much for so long that some of it has started to feel normal to you. You have carried guilt that I already offered to forgive. You have carried pressure that came from fear, not from me. You have carried responsibility for other people's choices, emotional burdens that were never yours to manage, expectations that kept changing, and silent worries that sat on your chest like stones in the night. You have even carried your future as if it all depended on how perfectly you could think, plan, protect, and perform. And because you have held it for so long, you started calling it wisdom. You started calling it maturity. You started calling it survival. But I am telling you now with gentleness and authority, much of what you have been carrying is not holy weight. It is heavy because it was never meant to stay in your hands. So stop here with me. Do not rush past this. Open your hands and your heart, even now, and begin naming what needs to be released. Hand me the guilt that keeps revisiting what I already covered with mercy. Hand me the fear that makes you rehearse disaster before peace as a chance to speak. Hand me the pressure to hold everyone together. Hand me the shame that still whispers that if you had been stronger, smarter, or better, things would have turned out differently. Bring it all. Do not sort it first. Do not clean it up. Just bring it. Imagine walking for miles with a backpack full of rocks, and over time your shoulders grow so used to the pain that you forget the difference between burden and body. That is what has happened to parts of you. You have confused constant strain with normal living. I want to change that. I want your soul to remember what it feels like to breathe without bracing. I want your thoughts to stop living in emergency mode. I want your spirit to rest in my strength instead of collapsing under self-made weight. So surrender now, not in a dramatic performance, but in a real and honest exchange. Give me what is crushing you. Let me carry what has been wearing you thin. Let this become the moment where you stop calling unnecessary burden your cross when it is really just fear, control, guilt, or exhaustion dressed up in spiritual language. I never asked you to carry all of that. I asked you to walk with me. There is a difference, and I want you to learn it now. Release what is not yours. Step lighter. Stay near. I can carry what you cannot, and I have been waiting for you to let me. Now that you are releasing what I never asked you to carry, make room for what I am calling you to hold, my child. I am placing purpose in your hands, and part of that purpose is to help carry my word to those who are still weighed down. When you give, you are no longer carrying burdens, you are releasing blessings. I have said, freely you have received, freely give, and this is your moment to let what I have poured into you flow outward. Your super thanks, your membership, or your gift through the PayPal link in the description becomes a river that reaches thirsty souls. I will not overlook your obedience. I will strengthen you, provide for you, and cover you with favor. This is a holy exchange, not an obligation. So do not pick the weight back up. Step into freedom and generosity. Give now, and let your release become someone else's breakthrough. Stay here with me, my child, because I know what fear does when you begin to sense that something is changing. It whispers that this will end like the other times. It tells you not to hope too much. It warns you not to trust what feels close because disappointment has trained you to brace yourself before joy can fully arrive. I understand that. I know how many times you stood near something you thought was about to open, only to watch it shift, stall, or disappear. I know how those moments taught part of your heart to stay cautious, even when I am speaking life over you. But I need you to hear me clearly now, and I need you to receive this as personal truth. I did not bring you this far to leave you standing at the edge of your breakthrough. I have not walked with you through all of this pain, all of this refining, all of this waiting, all of this hidden work, only to abandon you at the very place where your faith is beginning to see what it has been carrying. I am not careless with your journey. I am not wasteful with your tears. Every hard season has been building toward something, and what I have been shaping in you was never meant to end in confusion. Think of a sculptor who spends long hours chiseling stone. From the outside, it can look like destruction. Pieces fall away. Dust fills the air. The shape is unclear. But the sculptor does not stop when the outline first appears. He continues until the form hidden inside the stone is fully revealed. That is how I have worked in your life. I have not done all this shaping just to walk away before the unveiling. So stop standing at the edge as if the next step is too dangerous. Stop listening to the old voice that says, "It probably won't happen for you." Stop shrinking back just because your memory remembers other disappointments. This is not about forcing an outcome. This is about trusting the one who has carried you to this point. I am asking you now to lean in instead of pulling back. Stay open instead of guarded. Let hope rise without immediately trying to silence it. Let your heart believe that what I began, I intend to continue. The enemy wants you exhausted at the threshold, so tired from the journey that you hesitate when the door finally opens. Do not give him that satisfaction. Strengthen your heart in my presence. Lift your expectation. Speak to your own soul and tell it to stand upright again. You are not being teased by heaven. You are being led. You are not being brought near only to be turned away. I am still with you. I am still working. And if I have brought you this far, then trust me enough to believe I know how to carry you through the next step as well. Come closer, my child, because this is where many people misunderstand what comes after a breakthrough. They think the next season only requires boldness, movement, confidence, and visible strength. They imagine that once the door begins to open, all they need to do is charge ahead with enough courage to claim what they have prayed for. But I need you to hear me carefully, because what is coming next in your life will require something deeper than courage alone. It will require nearness. It will require the kind of closeness that keeps your heart soft while your life begins to move. It will require your attention, your listening, your willingness to remain near me when new opportunities, new emotions, and new responsibilities begin to fill your hands. So do not make the mistake of thinking that because you have survived hard seasons, you can now move forward on momentum alone. Survival taught you endurance, but this next season will ask for intimacy. That matters. There is a difference between being brave and being led. I want you to be led. Imagine a traveler stepping into a wide forest trail after years of walking through a narrow valley. The open path feels exciting, but the very freedom of it can become confusing if the traveler stops paying attention to the guide. The danger is not always in the darkness. Sometimes it is in the false confidence that comes when the road feels easier. That is why I am speaking to you now. Stay close. Keep your heart near my voice. Do not let relief become distance. Do not let answered prayers make you casual with my presence. Invite me into the pace of your day. Ask me before you assume. Pause before you commit. Let me teach you how to carry blessing without losing dependence. Let me teach you how to walk in newness without drifting into self-reliance. This is not because I want to restrict you. It is because I want to preserve what I am building in you. Your next season will hold more than you can see today, and some of it will be beautiful enough to distract you if you are not careful. Some of it will be heavy enough to humble you if you try to carry it alone. So anchor yourself now. Make closeness your habit, not just your emergency response. Let prayer become your atmosphere, not just your rescue line. Let my voice remain familiar in ordinary moments, not only in crisis. Stay close, my child. Walk with me, not just toward my promises. The strength you need for what is ahead will not come only from courage. It will come from nearness, from staying in step with me, from letting my presence shape your pace, your choices, and your peace every single day. Stay with me a little longer, because this part is sacred, and I do not want you to miss the deeper reason I have walked you through so much. Your healing was never meant to end with relief alone. I care deeply about your peace. I care about restoring what was bruised, calming what has been anxious, strengthening what has been worn down, and bringing tenderness back to places that once felt numb. But I also want you to understand that what I have been healing in you is beginning to touch something larger than your private recovery. This is where your healing and your assignment begin to meet. The places where you were wounded, the places where you waited, the places where you learned to trust me in the dark. Those places are becoming part of how you will carry my heart into the lives of others. I am not saying your pain was good in itself. I am saying I do not waste what has touched you. I know how personal your journey has been. I know there were moments you could barely hold yourself together. I know there were prayers you whispered through tears, seasons you survived with quiet endurance, and private battles that no one else fully understood. But look at what I have been forming in you through it all. You now carry a kind of compassion that cannot be faked. You recognize weariness in other people because you have known it yourself. You can sense hidden pain because you have lived with it. You can offer gentleness without pretending because your own soul learned how much it needed that kind of care. That is not accidental. Think of a lamp that was forged in fire. The heat was not the purpose of the lamp, but the fire shaped it into something capable of holding light. That is what I have been doing in you. Your wounds are not your identity, but they have become places where my light can shine with unusual warmth and honesty. So do not hide the work I have done in you. Do not shrink back from the purpose growing inside your healing. Let me show you how to use your story without being ruled by it. Let me teach you how to comfort without carrying everyone. Let me show you how to become a safe place for others without losing your own peace. Your assignment does not begin when you become flawless. It begins when you become available. It begins when you let me turn your healing into wisdom, your survival into compassion, and your restored heart into a place where my presence can reach someone else. So stay open, stay humble, stay willing. I am not only healing you so you can breathe again. I am also shaping you so you can become a vessel of comfort, truth, and quiet strength in a world that desperately needs what I am building in you. Look at me one more time, my child, and do not let your heart drift as this moment comes to its close, because what I am doing with you right now is not fading away just because these words are nearing their end. I need you to understand that clearly. This is not the end of an emotional moment. This is the beginning of a different way of walking with me. I did not bring you here simply so you could feel something for a little while and then return unchanged to the same inner patterns that have kept you tired, guarded, and disconnected. I brought you here so something in you could begin again. I brought you here so your heart could remember my nearness, so your spirit could rise out of survival, and so your eyes could learn to find me before they find fear. So stay present with me. Do not rush away. Let this final moment settle deeply inside you. Receive it fully. What begins in a quiet moment with me can shape an entire season if you will carry it forward with intention. Think of the first light of morning. It does not shout its arrival. It does not need to. It enters softly, and yet everything in the landscape starts changing because of it. That is what this moment is. It may feel quiet, but it carries authority. It may feel tender, but it holds direction. It may seem simple, but it is sacred. I have been waiting for this moment with you, and now that you are here, I do not want you to treat it like a passing feeling. Let it become a new posture. Let it become the way you return to me when fear rises. Let it become the way you respond when old thoughts try to pull you backward. Let it become the place where you remember that you are seen, guided, loved, and not alone. So take my hand again in your heart. Choose closeness again. Choose trust again, not as a performance, but as a relationship. When the day grows loud, come back to this. When the future feels uncertain, come back to this. When your emotions shift, your circumstances change, or your strength feels thin, come back to this. Keep looking at me. Keep walking with me. Keep letting my presence steady what life tries to shake. I am not sending you away from me with a speech. I am drawing you forward with me into what comes next. This is the beginning, not the end. The door is not closing on you. It is opening before you. So rise with peace. Walk with confidence. Stay near. And remember this whenever doubt tries to return. I have been waiting for this moment with you, and now that you have met me here, I am not letting go of your hand as you step into what comes next. This beginning I have awakened in you is not meant to stay contained, my child. It is meant to move, to grow, to reach. What you have received in this moment is living water, and I am calling you to let it flow into the lives of others. I have declared, whoever believes in me, out of them will flow rivers of living water, and your giving is one way that river is released. If you feel the fire of this moment still burning in your heart, that is my invitation to act now. Through your super thanks, your membership, or your offering through the PayPal link in the description, you step into partnership with me in spreading this light. I will multiply your seed, guard what concerns you, and cause favor to rise around you. Do not treat this as the end. This is your next step in the beginning. So move with me, give now, and let this moment echo into eternity through the lives you help touch. Before you leave, do not let this moment pass in silence. If this message was truly for you, then I want you to seal it with faith and write this in the comments. Lord, I'm looking at you now. I know this is my moment. Do not scroll away and keep this buried in your heart. Make it public, make it personal, and let your words become your witness. Your declaration matters, because when you say it, you are stepping out of fear and into agreement with what heaven has already begun. If this was your turning point, then claim it now and let the comment section become your altar of surrender. My child, you have spent so long listening to everything around you that you may have forgotten what it feels like to listen inwardly to the voice that has never stopped calling you. You have heard the demands, the expectations, the fears, and the questions, but beneath all of them, there has been another voice, quieter yet stronger, patiently drawing you back to me. That is why I am asking you not to rush through this moment. Do not let the noise convince you that you have to figure everything out before you can come closer. You do not. All I am asking for right now is your attention, your honesty, and the willingness to let me speak into the places you have been afraid to examine. Stay here, my child, because what you have been searching for may not come through another answer from the world, but through finally becoming still enough to hear what I have been saying all along. Stop what you are doing. Look at me. Take a deep, slow breath right now, just like the quiet pause before a heavy storm breaks. I have been waiting for this exact moment with you. You hear the deafening roar of the world all around you, do you not? You hear the loud, demanding voices of pressure at your job. You feel the heavy, unspoken tensions in your family. You carry the constant, nagging fear of the future. The noise of everyday life is so loud that it makes your mind spin. But right now, underneath all that loud panic, I am whispering to you. Do you hear it? Listen closely. My still, small voice is calling your name. Focus on my words. Do not look away. This is not a random moment in your day. You did not just stumble upon this conversation by accident. I planned this sacred, specific encounter because I saw you getting tired. I watched you wake up this morning feeling completely exhausted before you even got out of bed. I know you often feel overlooked and unappreciated by the people around you. You put on a brave smile for the world, but I see the real you. I see the heavy burdens you drag around every single day. I see the anxiety about tomorrow that keeps your eyes open in the middle of the night. I chose this exact moment to step into your day because I know you are searching for a true rest. Drop those heavy bags right now. Lay down the heavy burdens of yesterday at my feet. Do you feel that tight knot in your stomach? Do you feel that heavy pressure pressing down on your chest? That fear and that stress do not come from me. Let us undo that knot together. Hand me the mistakes you made yesterday. Give me the massive worries you have about tomorrow. You are carrying a crushing weight that I never asked you to carry. Release your tight grip on the need to fix everything yourself. Surrender the crushing pressure to always be perfect. Breathe out your fear. Breathe in my presence. Let go of your endless striving. I am more than big enough to handle your impossible situations. Create a quiet sanctuary in your heart for me right now. Push away the endless distractions of your daily life. Turn off the endless loop of worry playing in your mind. I am asking you to clear a space inside your soul where only my voice matters. I called your name today because the world is trying its hardest to break you down, but I am here to build you back up. I want to pull you out of the frantic rush and the silent panic. Step into the safe shelter of my arms. I am your true safe place. I am the solid, unbreakable rock beneath your feet when everything else around you feels like shifting sand. Receive my absolute peace right now. This is not the fake, temporary comfort the world tries to give you. This is the deep, unstoppable peace that goes far beyond all human understanding. It is a peace that makes no sense when you look at your daily struggles, your bills, or your earthly fears, but it anchors your soul anyway. Feel my love wrapping around you like a warm, comforting blanket on a freezing winter night. Close your eyes and rest in my shadow. Trust that I am actively working all things out for your ultimate good. I am holding your entire life, your future, and your family securely in my hands. You do not have to fight these hard battles alone anymore. I'm fighting for you. Stand up with a lighter heart today. Walk forward with absolute confidence, knowing that the Almighty Creator of the universe is walking right beside you. I love you, my precious child. I am with you, and I will never let you go. You have spent too much of your life looking down. You drop your eyes when you feel inadequate. You stare at the floor when a heavy wave of shame washes over your mind. I am asking you right now to lift your head. Look directly into my eyes. You have built a damaged habit of turning away from me because you secretly think I am looking at you with intense disappointment. You imagine my face carrying a deep scowl, frustrated by your repeated failures, your broken promises, and your quiet doubts. I tell you today that this image is a complete and absolute lie. I look at you entirely through the lens of my infinite, boundless grace. You are currently looking into a mirror that the harsh world has cracked and stained. You see only your flaws, your tired face, your past mistakes, and the cruel words spoken over you by people who did not know how to truly love you. I do not see you that way at all. I see the priceless masterpiece I personally breathed life into. I see the pure, radiant identity I gave you before the stars were even formed. Meet my gaze right now. Do not look away. Establish this deep, spiritual eye contact with your Heavenly Father. I want you to feel the absolute, comforting warmth of my gaze. My eyes are not searching your life like a harsh judge looking for a reason to punish you. My eyes are pouring out a healing light that aggressively melts away the thick, freezing ice of your old, infected wounds. You try so incredibly hard to hide the parts of yourself that you hate. You cover up your deep insecurities with forced laughter, angry defenses, or by constantly keeping busy. You can stop hiding right now. You are never, ever hidden from my sight, and I want you to understand that this is not a terrifying threat. It is your greatest, most profound comfort. I see the quiet moments you sit on the edge of your bed, staring blankly into space, wondering if you are truly enough for anyone. I am looking at you in those exact, lowly moments with overwhelming pride and a deep, consuming love. I see the specific, painful memory that flashes in your mind right before you fall asleep, the one that makes your stomach drop with heavy regret. I was right there with you when it happened, and I do not condemn you. I have already completely forgiven you. Your true identity is not found in your stressful career, your complicated relationship status, or the fluctuating numbers in your bank account. Your true identity is perfectly, flawlessly reflected in my loving countenance. You are my beloved child. You are chosen. You are deeply celebrated. Break this heavy, suffocating habit of living in constant shame. I command you to step out of the dark shadows of your past. I invite you to stand confidently in the blazing, warm light of my total approval. You walk into crowded rooms and wonder if anyone actually wants you there. You feel completely invisible at your job, like you are just a disposable tool producing results. But when I look at you, I do not see a tool. I see a living, breathing soul that costs me absolutely everything to save. I want you to wake up tomorrow morning, look directly in your bathroom mirror, and consciously say out loud, "My Father sees me, and He is deeply pleased." Claim this powerful truth. Let my loving gaze burn away the thick, blinding fog of your low self-esteem. You have walked around with your shoulders slumped for far too long. Straighten your back right now. You carry the royal, eternal bloodline of heaven. When you finally lock your eyes with mine, you will realize that every harsh rejection you ever faced on this earth was simply a divine redirection toward my perfect, unconditional acceptance. I have chased you relentlessly. You thought you were walking completely alone through the terrible, dark season of grief. But I was right behind you every single step of the way. You felt entirely abandoned when your friends left your side, but I never took my eyes off you for a split second. I have pursued you aggressively across the deep, treacherous valleys of your life. I have waited for you with the desperate, unwavering patience of a father standing on his front porch, scanning the distant horizon for his missing child. Turn around right now. Face me fully. Do you feel that deep, unexplainable ache echoing in your soul? Do you feel that intense, gnawing hunger that no amount of career success, financial wealth, or temporary human love can ever fix? That emptiness is not a flaw, it is a feature. It is the sacred, hollow space I deliberately created inside you just for myself. I fiercely want to fill it. You have been trying to satisfy a massive spiritual hunger with the cheap, empty junk food of this world. You run after promotions, relationships, and the fleeting applause of other people, yet you always end up feeling hollow again the next morning. Stop trying to feed your eternal soul with temporary scraps. I invite you to sit at my overflowing table. I will satisfy your deepest, most desperate cravings. I feel an overwhelming, explosive joy the exact second you turn your heart back toward me. All of heaven stops and throws a massive celebration just because you looked my way. I was sitting right next to you in the driver's seat of your car when you cried those hot, silent tears and thought no one cared. I was holding the pieces of your shattered heart when you received that devastating phone call. My patience with you is truly infinite. During the long seasons when you deliberately walked away, when you chose your own destructive path, I did not write you off. I did not cross your name out of my book. I gently followed you into your wilderness. I watched you stumble, and I immediately reached out to catch you. You never have to earn your way back into my good graces. You just have to turn around. I have personally built a spectacular, permanent place just for you in my house. It is a home where you will never, ever feel like an outsider again. You will never have to perform or prove your worth to keep your room there. The foundation of this house is built entirely on my unbreakable promise to you. My love for you is not like the unpredictable weather of human emotions. My love does not dry up when you make a mistake. It does not suddenly vanish when you have a bad day or lose your temper. My love is a constant, roaring river that effortlessly sweeps away all your fears and insecurities. Let my love wash over you right now. I command you to stop doubting my affection. I invite you to finally rest in the rock-solid certainty that you are the absolute prize of my eternal heart. You are deeply wanted, and I will spend all of eternity showing you exactly how much you mean to me. Put down your phone for a moment. Turn your eyes away from the glowing screen that constantly drains your precious life away. You are currently drowning in a violent, chaotic sea of digital noise. You are desperately, frantically seeking a tiny drop of validation from complete strangers who do not even know your real name. Why do you consistently beg for small crumbs of approval from a fickle world that will completely forget you tomorrow? The almighty creator of the galaxies has already crowned you with absolute, eternal worth. I see you exhausting yourself every single day. You are furiously climbing a corporate or social ladder that is leaning against the entirely wrong wall. You obsess over your bank account balances, your online status, and the tiny numbers on a screen that dictate your mood. Break free from this invisible, suffocating prison right now. Look up from your endless earthly tasks. I command you to detach from this frantic, toxic hustle. You wake up and immediately flood your mind with the panicked news of the world, other people's filtered highlight reels, and a mountain of stressful emails. This constant noise completely muffles the clear, beautiful frequency of heaven. You are operating like a high-performance engine trying to run on cheap, contaminated fuel. I invite you to plug into the true, eternal power source. Identifying the modern idols in your life is not always easy, because they often look like normal, acceptable routines. But anything that steals your peace, anything that demands your first thought in the morning and your last thought at night, is a cruel master competing for your attention. I want your undivided attention. I am calling you to single-minded devotion, not to restrict you, but to completely liberate you. Do you notice the heavy, physical toll this distraction takes on you? I see your tired, strained eyes. I see your numb thumb mindlessly scrolling through feeds. I feel the hollow, sinking sensation in your chest after you spend an hour comparing your actual, real life to the fake, polished lives of others online. You look at them and instantly feel like you are falling hopelessly behind. I declare over you right now that you are exactly where I need you to be. Your timeline is dictated by heaven, not by the internet. It takes immense, radical courage to actually look up and tune out the crowd. I am asking you to be remarkably brave today. Shut out the pointless noise. Stop caring about the opinions of people who did not create you and cannot save you. I promise that I will give you absolute, razor-sharp clarity when you deliberately choose to fix your eyes on the eternal rather than the temporary. The things that are stressing you out today will be completely irrelevant in 5 years. Focus your heart on what actually lasts. I invite you into the breathtaking freedom that is only found when you stop trying to please the entire world and simply choose to walk intimately with me. Take off your heavy mask. You have worn it for so incredibly long that you almost believe it is your actual face. You force a bright smile when you are literally breaking into pieces inside. You automatically say "I am fine" to everyone when you are silently screaming for someone, anyone, to help you. I see the terrifying, bone-deep exhaustion that comes from pretending to be strong all the time. Stop faking it right now. I invite you to completely collapse into my waiting arms. Admit your utter weakness to me today. It is completely okay to be fragile. You do not have to hold your universe together anymore. Holding the universe is my job, not yours. Tell me the dark, hidden secrets you are terrified to whisper out loud to yourself. Tell me about the bitter resentments, the crippling fears, and the messy failures you desperately try to sweep under the rug. You hold these things back because you think they will make me turn away from you in disgust. I already know every single one of them, and I love you exactly the same. Your brutal honesty is the exact key that unlocks my miraculous power in your life. I cannot heal the fake version of you that you present to the world. I can only heal the real, broken, bleeding you. Bring me your beautifully broken and contrite spirit. It is the most precious offering you could ever place in my hands. You wake up every morning and strap on heavy, rusted armor just to survive your workplace, your difficult relationships, and your own harsh inner critic. Hand me that heavy, suffocating shield. It is weighing you down and stopping you from truly living. I command you to drop your defenses with me. When you finally surrender your desperate need to be tough, my own divine strength instantly becomes your impenetrable armor. My power is made absolutely perfect in your exact moments of greatest weakness. The moment you say, "I cannot do this anymore," is the exact moment I say, "I have got you. I will do it for you." Let us make a divine, supernatural exchange right now. Hand me your incredibly heavy, suffocating wet blanket of anxiety and depression. Give me the massive weight of your daily panic. In return, I am eagerly wrapping you in my brilliant, shining garment of praise. I am replacing your profound heaviness with an unstoppable, bubbling joy. Trust me with your deepest vulnerabilities. Do you realize how fiercely I protect what you entrust to me? The world might use your weakness against you, but I use your weakness to showcase my magnificent glory. Cry if you need to cry right now. Let the tears fall and wash away the toxic pride that has kept you isolated. I am holding you incredibly close. You are totally safe here. You are stronger in my arms than you could ever be standing on your own 2 feet. You have just traded your heavy, suffocating anxiety for my brilliant garment of praise. But there are millions still weeping in the dark who desperately need this exact encounter. I am actively inviting you to personally partner with me right now to forcefully broadcast this message of radical healing to every shattered soul on this earth. When you sow your financial seed into this ministry, you are lighting a massive, blazing beacon that guides the lost directly into my waiting arms. My word declares that whoever refreshes others will absolutely be refreshed themselves, and I will aggressively multiply the bread you cast upon these wild waters. This is a divine, urgent appointment to violently push back the darkness and rescue those who are drowning in their own bitter tears today. I promise to open the heavy floodgates of heaven over your life, pouring out an unstoppable harvest of absolute favor and divine protection upon your entire household. Support this mission immediately through a super thanks, by becoming a channel member, or through the PayPal link located in the description. Step boldly into this holy partnership right now and watch me completely transform your generous sacrifice into eternal, miraculous victories. Do not stop listening now. We are just beginning to pull the deep, toxic thorns from your weary soul. It grieves my heart deeply when you walk away just before the miraculous breakthrough finally happens. If you close this conversation right now, you are actively choosing the heavy, suffocating chains of your past over the boundless, warring freedom of your future. Stay with me. Do not turn your back on your father when I am aggressively pouring out my healing. I have so much more to give your exhausted spirit. Wake up right now to the stunning reality of my relentless, aggressive mercy. You often live as if my mercy is a tiny, limited bank account that you have entirely overdrawn. You walk around terrified that I have finally run out of patience with you. I declare to you today that my mercy is a massive, violent, unending ocean, and it forcefully crashes over the muddy shores of your life, fresh and clean, every single morning. I know you feel completely stuck in the thick, suffocating mud of your past mistakes. You replay your worst decisions, your most embarrassing moments, and your greatest failures in your mind like a broken, torturous record. Stop actively punishing yourself for crimes that I have already completely pardoned. I built an indestructible, eternal bridge to reach you across the chasm of your sin, and I built it through the agonizing sacrifice of my own son. I did not spare anything to get you back. Do you truly understand the staggering magnitude of that? Your massive spiritual debt is entirely, permanently canceled. The detailed record of every single one of your past transgressions has been wiped totally blank. It is literally thrown into the deepest part of the sea, and I have placed a no fishing sign right above it. I choose to remember your sins no more. Why do you insist on digging up the very things I have permanently buried? Your relentless self-condemnation is an insult to the brutal price that was paid for your freedom. I command you to walk out of that dark, miserable prison cell of guilt. The door is standing wide open, yet you choose to sit inside it, holding the keys. Step out into the blinding sunlight of my grace. I invite you to establish your entire future on the solid, unshakable rock of my forgiveness, rather than the shifting, terrifying quicksand of your own perfectionism. You will never be perfect on your own, and I have never asked you to be. I only ask you to be mine. The wideness of my grace is far more expansive than you can currently comprehend. It covers every single stupid mistake you made yesterday, the impatient words you snapped at your family this morning, and the inevitable stumbles you will make tomorrow. Do not use this grace as an excuse to stay in the mud, but use it as the ultimate power to stand up, wash off, and walk proudly as a redeemed child of the King. I want you to walk in absolute liberty today. Hold your head high. You are not a condemned prisoner on death row. You are a fully pardoned, completely restored royal heir. Breathe in the incredibly crisp, fresh air of total absolution. I have completely architected a system of mercy designed specifically to ensure that you never, ever have to live in fear of my wrath again. I love you with an everlasting love. Accept my profound mercy, and let it permanently transform the way you walk through your world today. You feel like you are walking through an endless, suffocating darkness right now. You are currently navigating a deeply painful valley of shadows, and it feels as though the bright sun will never truly rise again. I see you sitting in the cold, quiet waiting room, terrified of what the doctor might say. I see you staring blankly at the stack of bills on your kitchen counter, desperately wondering how you will possibly stretch your paycheck to the end of the month. I am walking right beside you in this exact, terrifying moment. I am your ultimate shepherd, and I will absolutely not let you wander through this terrifying darkness alone. Look at me right now. Give me your crippling fear of the unknown. You do not need to be paralyzed by the invisible arrows of anxiety that fly at you during the busy day, or the sudden, sharp terrors that forcefully attack your mind in the middle of the night. I am your impenetrable shield. I am actively blocking the absolute worst of these attacks before they even have a chance to touch you. You feel the heavy, painful weight of your current trial pressing down on your chest. But I am aggressively using this exact pressure to forge something spectacular and unbreakable inside of your character. I strongly invite you to lean heavily on my rod and my staff when your own legs feel completely too weak to carry you. My divine discipline and my daily guidance are not meant to punish you. They are explicitly, perfectly designed to protect you from stepping off a dangerous cliff. You feel like you are walking through a dry, barren desert where absolutely nothing seems to be growing. You feel spiritually starved and emotionally entirely depleted. But I have carefully hidden special, supernatural nourishment just for you in this very wasteland. I am feeding you hidden manna right now. I am giving you exactly enough strength, exactly enough grace, and exactly enough patience to make it through just this one single day. Do not try to carry tomorrow's heavy burdens today. I command you to take just one simple step at a time, holding incredibly tightly to my strong hand. The deep darkness you are experiencing is not a permanent grave. It is a spiritual darkroom. I am using this confusing, painful lack of light to dramatically and permanently sharpen your spiritual vision. You are slowly learning to see my face when you can no longer see your own way forward. Stop believing the terrifying, toxic lie that you are going to be stuck in this awful place forever. The valley is only a temporary passage. It is absolutely not your final destination. You are simply walking through it. I am leading you step by cautious step out of the deep shadows and back into the glorious, warm sunlight. I know you are profoundly exhausted. I know you want to sit down and just completely give up right here in the middle of the mess. I actively invite you to draw your daily energy directly from my endless, warring supply. I command you to keep moving forward. Do not set up a permanent camp in the middle of your temporary pain. The harsh, biting winds of this current storm are actually blowing you much closer to your ultimate purpose. Trust my fierce, protective heart even when you cannot possibly understand the movements of my hand. I have never, ever lost a single sheep, and I am certainly not going to lose you. Your rescue is already completely, eternally guaranteed. Stand up, take a massive, deep breath, and walk confidently with me through this temporary valley. You often wake up feeling like you are just helplessly spinning your wheels, living the exact same monotonous, exhausting day over and over again. You sit heavily at your desk or drive endlessly to your workplace, feeling a massive, crushing wave of insignificance wash entirely over you. You look constantly at other people effortlessly achieving their big dreams, and you secretly wonder if I completely forgot to give you a meaningful destiny. I tell you right now, with absolute, unshakable authority, that I have never forgotten you for a single second. I have personally drawn up a flawless, magnificent blueprint for your entire life. Before I even formed the mighty foundations of the earth, I laid out specific, powerful works for you to boldly accomplish. You are absolutely not an accident, and your current frustrating season is not a pointless waste of time. I deliberately deposited unique, brilliant spiritual gifts deep inside your very DNA. You possess a specific rhythm of compassion, a completely unique tone of voice, and a distinct perspective that no one else in the entire history of humanity has ever possessed. I enthusiastically invite you to stop desperately trying to copy the paths of the people around you. You are completely wearing yourself out trying to fit into a tiny, suffocating mold that I never designed you to inhabit. I command you to immediately align your daily heartbeat with the steady, unstoppable rhythm of my heavenly kingdom. Bring me your ordinary, seemingly boring daily tasks right now. When you do your daily work with an attitude of complete worship and surrender, you are actively participating in a massive, divine master plan. I am using your current, highly frustrating job to carefully and meticulously polish your character. I am using your quiet, overlooked acts of daily kindness to permanently alter the spiritual atmosphere of your entire family. You severely underestimate the massive, explosive impact of just one single human soul that is entirely, completely surrendered to my call. You falsely think you need a massive, global platform or endless wealth to make a difference in this world. I declare to you that I only need your willing, fiercely obedient heart. Trust the quiet, invisible timing of the tiny seeds I have deeply planted inside you. You want to see the massive, roaring harvest immediately. You become highly frustrated and deeply bitter when your intense hard work does not produce instant, spectacular results. You must completely understand that sturdy, magnificent oak trees do not ever grow overnight. Only fragile, useless weeds do. I am actively growing something permanent and breathtakingly beautiful in you, and it requires the slow, deliberate passing of time. I am urgently calling you to play your crucial role in my great, eternal commission. You are an essential, vital part of the living body of Christ. If you hold back your specific gift because of deep fear or insecurity, the entire body severely suffers. I command you to step boldly into the powerful authority I have clearly given you. Speak up bravely in that difficult meeting. Reach out lovingly to that deeply lonely neighbor. You are my direct, royal representative in your specific corner of the world. I have equipped you perfectly for the exact battles you are facing today. Embrace your divine purpose right now. Stop believing the crushing, toxic lie that you do not matter. You matter intensely to me, and your bold obedience will actively echo throughout all of eternity. You carry a deep, agonizing wound of rejection that you try incredibly hard to hide from the entire world. You remember the exact, painful moment someone looked directly at you and decided you were simply not good enough. I clearly see the invisible, bleeding scars left behind by the harsh words of a parent, the brutal, shocking betrayal of a partner, or the cold indifference of a close friend who just casually walked away. You constantly feel like the permanent backup plan, the forgotten second choice, the person who is always easily replaced. I firmly command you to completely rip off those toxic, heavy labels right now. Those terrible, damaging lies were spoken by flawed, broken humans who could not possibly understand your immense, eternal value. I am aggressively replacing those vicious lies with my unchangeable, absolute truth today. You are completely, flawlessly enough exactly as you are. I absolutely do not tolerate the dark spirit of rejection trying to set up camp in your mind. I am forcefully tearing down every single thought that dares to tell you that you are worthless. I am the ultimate, perfect father to the fatherless. I am the fiercely loyal, never-leaving friend to the desperately lonely. When the people you trusted the most tragically let you down, I stepped directly into the bleeding gap. Come close to me right now. Bring me your deeply bruised, entirely shattered heart. I am gently, painstakingly binding up your bleeding wounds with my own miraculous, healing hands. I am actively pulling the sharp, poisonous sting of human betrayal completely out of your memories. You expected fragile human beings to give you the perfect, unconditional love that only I can truly provide. Forgive them for being flawed, and then actively hand that heavy, suffocating burden of resentment entirely over to me. You are completely safe in my eternal family. You are not a temporary, unwanted guest. You are a fully adopted, completely legitimate royal heir to my kingdom. I chose you before the creation of the world, and I would gladly choose you 1,000,000 times over without a second thought. Stop eagerly seeking your ultimate validation in the empty, fleeting praise of your coworkers or the shallow approval of your peers. They absolutely do not hold the mighty pen that writes your destiny. I hold that pen, and I have enthusiastically written a spectacular, victorious story for your life. I am completely restoring the deep, unshakable dignity that the harsh world forcefully tried to rip away from you. You walk into a crowded room constantly worrying that people are secretly judging you. I urgently want you to walk into that exact same room knowing absolutely that the King of the universe is entirely captivated by you. I lovingly invite you to rest in the unbreakable security of my total, radical acceptance. When you fully grasp how deeply and permanently I love you, the cruel opinions of mortal men instantly lose their terrifying power over your emotions. You are not a reject. You are not a failure. You are my flawless masterpiece, carefully and deliberately crafted. I command you to hold your head incredibly high today. Let my radical, overwhelming love flush out every last drop of insecurity hiding in your tired soul. Walk confidently in this new reality. Look deeply into the mirror of my word and see the breathtaking reflection of a soul that has been meticulously designed and permanently cherished by me. You are completely exhausting yourself by desperately trying to control every single tiny detail of your chaotic life. You stay awake late into the night, aggressively turning over all the terrifying what-if scenarios in your entirely exhausted mind. You frantically try to instantly solve complex problems that have not even happened yet. You are gripping the steering wheel of your life so incredibly tight that your knuckles are completely white. I am gently, but firmly asking you to pry your fingers off that wheel right now. Stop leaning so heavily on your own limited, highly flawed human understanding. I actively invite you to take a massive, terrifying leap of radical trust and completely let me hold the reins. Do you feel that tight, painful knot of pure panic in your chest when your perfectly crafted plans suddenly fall apart? That panic is the direct, physical result of carrying a massive, heavy burden you were never designed to carry. I am the absolute CEO of the universe. You are not. Resign immediately from your exhausting, unpaid job as the general manager of your own destiny. I fiercely want you to experience the overwhelming, gravity-defying peace that instantly floods your soul when you finally surrender control. True faith is not just passively believing that I exist. True faith is the absolute, concrete evidence of the spectacular things you cannot yet see. You constantly want me to give you the entire, detailed map of your future before you take a single, tentative step. I absolutely do not operate that way. I am commanding you to take the next faithful step in total darkness, trusting completely that my firm, unshakable ground will be there when your foot finally lands. I am giving you my rock-solid trust as a massive, heavy shield right now. When the enemy aggressively whispers terrifying lies about your upcoming financial ruin or your absolute failure, you must hold up this massive shield of faith. His vicious, fiery lies shatter completely against the solid iron of my eternal promises. I joyfully declare to you today that I am actively, aggressively working all things together for your absolute, undeniable good. I am masterfully weaving your greatest mistakes, your most painful losses, and your most confusing delays into a breathtaking masterpiece of complete redemption. You look constantly at the tangled, messy threads on the back of the tapestry and think your life is a complete disaster. I am looking directly at the front of the tapestry, and it is entirely flawless. I command you to rest heavily in the rock-solid reliability of my scriptural promises. My word is not a casual collection of polite suggestions, it is the absolute, unbreakable physical law of the spiritual universe. If I said I will provide for you, I will absolutely, miraculously provide for you. If I said I will heal you, my healing is already actively rushing toward you like a freight train. Stop intensely doubting my fundamental goodness. I invite you into a daily, breathing reality where radical trust entirely replaces your toxic anxiety. Breathe out your frantic need for control right now. Breathe in my sovereign, perfectly timed grace. Let the chaotic storms of life rage around you if they must, but keep your inner sanctuary entirely undisturbed. I am your mighty anchor, heavy and steadfast, holding you completely secure no matter how violent the waves become. As you actively surrender your frantic need for control and deeply anchor your trust in my promises, I am calling you to physically manifest that radical faith today. I deliberately invite you to partner with my fierce heart to ensure this exact message of supernatural peace urgently reaches those currently paralyzed by the spirit of fear. Every single gift you plant into this channel acts as a powerful, living river of holy water, rushing aggressively into the dry, barren deserts of broken families and exhausted minds. I declare over you that as you give generously, your own barns will be miraculously filled to overflowing, and your vats will violently burst with fresh, sacred oil. Do not delay this holy mandate, for there is a soul on the absolute brink of despair who desperately needs to hear my voice through this ministry before the sun sets. I will fiercely protect your finances, permanently rebuke the devourer for your sake, and aggressively multiply your planted seed 100-fold. Release your faith right now by offering a super thanks, joining as a dedicated member, or giving through the PayPal link in the description. Act with bold, immediate obedience this very second, and let us violently rescue the lost together. Do not turn away from my voice. To leave this sacred encounter right now would be to walk completely unarmed back into a brutal, raging battlefield. It shatters my heart to watch you settle for partial, temporary comfort when absolute, total victory is waiting just a few steps ahead. Do not grieve my spirit by choosing the meaningless distractions of this world over your own divine destiny. Keep your eyes locked firmly on mine. The most spectacular revelation of your life is about to forcefully unfold. You are actively letting massive amounts of highly toxic garbage dump directly into your mind every single day. You spend hours mindlessly doom-scrolling through the darkest, most terrifying news of the entire world. You endlessly consume the shallow, bitter philosophies of angry, lost people on the internet. Then, you sit alone in your room and wonder why you feel so incredibly depressed, heavy, and paralyzed by constant fear. I sternly command you to aggressively guard the gates of your fragile mind. You would never intentionally drink a glass of poisoned water, yet you willingly and eagerly swallow the poisonous, fear-mongering content of this completely broken world. I am inviting you right now into a radical, total mental cleanse. I want to aggressively wash away the thick, suffocating grime of worldly anxiety that has permanently settled over your daily thoughts. You cannot possibly live a victorious, spirit-led life if you are constantly feeding your brain a daily diet of pure despair. I strictly command you to deliberately change the channel of your toxic inner monologue. Stop intensely focusing on everything that is currently falling apart in your life. Start aggressively thinking on things that are absolutely true, entirely noble, deeply pure, and spectacularly lovely. This is not a casual request for naive, fake positivity. This is a highly strategic, military-grade defense against the vicious enemy of your soul. You are currently in a brutal, all-out war for your mental clarity. You must forcefully capture every single negative, terrifying thought the exact second it enters your brain. When a dark thought tells you that you are going to go bankrupt, or that your children will utterly fail, or that your health is completely destroyed, you must arrest that thought immediately. You must violently make the terrifying thought bow down and submit to the absolute authority of Jesus Christ. You are the sole, powerful gatekeeper of your mind. Stop casually leaving the front door of your brain wide open for any random, terrifying lie to walk in and ruin your entire day. I warmly invite you to let my powerful, living word take deep, unbreakable roots inside your completely renewed mind. When you soak your brain daily in my eternal promises, a spectacular, permanent transformation instantly occurs. The heavy, paralyzing brain fog of constant anxiety completely evaporates into thin air. The confusing, twisting paths of your daily decisions become incredibly straight and remarkably clear. You will consistently experience a massive surge of sharp, mental clarity that only comes from living a deeply spirit-led life. I proudly declare over you today that you have the very mind of Christ. You are fully capable of brilliant, peaceful, and highly strategic thinking. I command you to break your toxic, daily addiction to outrage and panic. Replace your endless, digital scrolling with the quiet, profound absorption of my ancient, unchangeable truths. The world profits massively off your constant anxiety, but I freely and lovingly offer you absolute mental peace. Choose my peace today. Guard your heart with ferocious intensity, for it is the very wellspring from which your entire reality forcefully flows. Stand up tall and completely reject the spiraling thoughts that try to drag you down into the dark abyss. You are entirely equipped to master your own mind through the limitless power of my Holy Spirit dwelling actively inside you. You are incredibly frustrated right now because you feel like you are entirely running out of time. You watch the calendar turn, you see the months slip away, and you feel a massive, heavy knot of panic forming in your stomach. You look at other people easily receiving the exact things you have been desperately praying for. You see them getting the new job, finding the right relationship, or buying the home, and you quietly ask me, when is it going to be my turn? I firmly command you to stop watching the ticking clock on the wall. I do not operate on your frantic, stressful earthly timeline. I am entirely outside of time, and I am actively inviting you to trust the absolute perfection of my schedule. You often treat waiting as a useless, painful delay, but I want you to see waiting as a powerful, active form of deep worship. When you sit in the quiet unknown and simply choose to trust me anyway, you bring massive glory to my kingdom. I know you are deeply confused when I tell you no or not yet. You have brought me highly detailed plans begging me to bless them immediately. When I close the door, you feel entirely rejected. You must understand today that my no is very often my absolute greatest protection over your life. You can only see the next 3 steps in front of you, but I clearly see the massive, hidden traps waiting 10 miles down the road. I am fiercely protecting you from relationships that would completely drain your soul. I am blocking jobs that would entirely destroy your peace of mind. I command you to stop violently kicking against the closed doors I have lovingly shut. Let go of the desperate, exhausting need to force things to happen on your own terms. I invite you to deeply synchronize your daily heartbeat with the steady, unhurrying clock of heaven. You are currently walking through a painful season of heavy pruning. I am actively cutting away the dead branches, the toxic habits, and the unhealthy dependencies in your life. Pruning is incredibly uncomfortable. It feels raw and exposed. But you must trust that I only cut things back so that you can grow stronger and bear much richer fruit in the next season. You cannot possibly handle the massive blessing I have prepared for you until your character is fully developed enough to sustain it. I am using this difficult waiting room to radically build your patience, your resilience, and your total reliance on my voice. I am never, ever early, and I am absolutely never late. I arrive exactly at the precise, perfect moment. I want you to prepare your heart right now for the suddenness of my breakthroughs. You will wait for a long time, and then, in one single, miraculous day, everything will completely change. Do not give up right before the massive breakthrough happens. Hold your ground. Stand firm in the waiting room. I command you to rest deeply in the unshakable certainty that your intensely beautiful, perfectly timed harvest is already completely guaranteed. You constantly beg me to speak clearly to you. You desperately want a loud, booming voice from the sky to tell you exactly what decision to make about your career, your family, or your finances. You sit in your car, staring at the steering wheel, asking me to just give you a clear sign. I want to tell you today that I am already actively speaking to you every single day, but you are not properly tuned into my frequency. I am inviting you to learn the quiet, intimate language of my Holy Spirit. I do not usually yell over the chaotic, deafening noise of your television, your social media, or your crowded schedule. I speak in a gentle, persistent whisper. I speak through a sudden, unexplainable peace that settles heavily over your chest when you make the right choice. I speak through a deep, quiet unrest in your gut when you are about to walk down the wrong path. I command you to start aggressively paying close attention to these inner prompts. I gave you my Holy Spirit to be your permanent, living counselor and your ultimate guide. He is actively dwelling inside of you right now, eagerly waiting for you to simply ask for direction. You often ignore that small, quiet nudge to call a lonely friend, to apologize to your partner, or to completely walk away from a bad deal. You brush it off as your own random thought. I declare to you that those highly specific nudges are my direct, divine instructions carefully guiding your daily steps. I want you to develop a deeply sensitive heart that instantly responds to my convictions. When you feel that sudden check in your spirit telling you to stop speaking angrily, you must obey it instantly. When you feel the quiet urge to give your money away to someone in need, you must open your hands quickly. This radical obedience dramatically increases your spiritual hearing. I strongly invite you to open my written word every single day. The Bible is not an old, dusty history book. It is my living, breathing voice directly recorded for your current situation. The quiet whispers of the Holy Spirit will always perfectly harmonize with the solid, unbreakable truths of Scripture. If a thought tells you to live in fear, it is absolutely not from me, because my word clearly tells you to be courageous. I also speak to you through the brilliant beauty of nature, through the deeply wise counsel of godly friends, and through carefully orchestrated circumstances. I am actively surrounding you with massive signposts pointing you directly toward your destiny. I command you to quiet your busy, distracted mind today. Turn off the radio. Put down the phone. Sit in the absolute silence for just 5 minutes and intentionally say, "Speak, Lord, for your servant is actually listening." When you deeply cultivate this daily intimacy, you will clearly hear my loving voice guiding your every single step, bringing absolute clarity to your most confusing days. You are currently living completely paralyzed by a heavy, suffocating blanket of fear. You wake up with your heart violently racing in your chest. You constantly vividly imagine the absolute worst possible outcomes for your children, your health, and your bank account. You walk around holding your breath, bracing yourself for a terrible disaster that has not even happened. I absolutely command you to recognize right now that this crippling, toxic fear does not come from me. I did not give you a timid, cowardly spirit. The dark enemy of your soul is aggressively projecting these terrifying movies into your mind to keep you completely trapped and entirely useless. I warmly invite you to step directly into my perfect, overwhelming love. When you deeply realize how fiercely and aggressively I love you, that perfect love instantly violently casts out all of your trepidation. You feel like a tiny, fragile boat being tossed around in a massive, violent hurricane. The loud thunder is cracking all around you, and the angry waves are crashing heavily over the sides of your life. I am standing right here in the very center of your storm. I am actively calling you to stand incredibly firm when the dark winds of life begin to rise. Stop intensely focusing on the terrifying size of your immediate problems. Start intensely focusing on the absolute, infinite size of your Almighty God. You do not have to fight these terrifying thoughts with your own weak, limited logic. I have freely given you the massive, razor-sharp sword of my word. I command you to violently strike back against the dark spirit of anxiety today. When the enemy viciously whispers, "You are going to lose everything," you must instantly reply out loud, "My God will miraculously supply every single one of my needs." I eagerly want you to walk through your daily life with the fierce, unstoppable boldness of a royal child who knows their father is the ultimate king of the universe. You are not an unprotected, helpless orphan left to fend for yourself in a cruel world. I am actively guarding your front, your back, and your completely vulnerable sides. I command you to aggressively completely replace the terrifying what-ifs with the rock-solid declaration that God is. What if the economy completely crashes? God is still firmly on his throne. What if the medical test comes back with bad news? God is still the ultimate miraculous healer. What if people completely abandon you? God is still entirely faithful. Refuse to let toxic fear make your daily decisions. Stop playing it incredibly safe just because you are deeply afraid of failing. I lovingly invite you to boldly step out of your comfortable, safe boat and walk entirely on the water with me. Keep your eyes locked permanently on my face, and the massive, terrifying waves of anxiety will completely lose their power to pull you under. You are living in a deeply broken, incredibly dark, and completely weary world. You go to work every day and listen to the endless, toxic gossip in the break room. You scroll through the internet and see nothing but bitter outrage, moral decay, and total compromise. You strongly feel the massive, heavy pressure to simply blend in, to laugh at the inappropriate jokes, and to lower your absolute standards just to survive your social environment. I am giving you a very strict, powerful command today. Stop trying to fit perfectly into a world that you were expressly designed to stand out from. I did not pull you completely out of the darkness just so you could go back and comfortably play in the shadows. I am actively calling you to walk in the stunning, absolute beauty of true holiness. Do not view my rules as heavy, boring chains meant to ruin your daily fun. My commands are the precise, solid guardrails on a very dangerous mountain road, deliberately designed to keep you from driving off a deadly cliff. I enthusiastically invite you to discover the massive, explosive joy that completely follows radical obedience. When you choose to set yourself completely apart for my special, divine purposes, you immediately become an unstoppable force of nature. I want your daily, ordinary conduct to powerfully reflect my brilliant, blinding glory to the lost, broken people around you. You are the only Bible that some of your coworkers will ever read. When they see your deep patience under heavy pressure, when they notice your absolute integrity when no one else is looking, and when they feel your genuine, unconditional love, they will be magnetically drawn directly to me. You cannot possibly live this entirely holy life using your own limited willpower. If you just try harder, you will only end up completely exhausted and deeply hypocritical. I am actively supplying you with massive, unending rivers of grace that completely empower you to walk this narrow, difficult way. I strictly command you to let my spirit do the deep, painful inward transformation inside of your heart. Stop intensely focusing purely on your outward behavior. When your hidden heart is completely radically changed, the bright, delicious outward fruit will naturally and effortlessly grow. Give me your secret, hidden sins today. Give me the private addictions and the quiet compromises you think no one else sees. I am actively shining a massive, bright spotlight into the darkest corners of your life, not to humiliate you, but to completely liberate you. Wash yourself entirely clean in my limitless grace today. I warmly invite you to step up and live as a brilliant, blazing torch of hope in your dark neighborhood. Be entirely different. Be deeply kind. Be fiercely pure. The world desperately needs to see the real, living Jesus shining brightly directly through your everyday life. You have boldly chosen to stand completely apart as a brilliant, blazing torch in this dark and weary world. And now I need you to furiously fan the flames of this vital mission. I am actively inviting you to join your hands with mine to forcefully spread this uncompromising truth to a desperate generation starving for genuine holiness. When you sow your earthly treasure here, you are providing the pure, combustible oil that keeps this beacon of hope burning fiercely across the entire globe. I promise that he who supplies seed to the sower will absolutely multiply your resources and dramatically increase the spectacular fruits of your righteousness. This is a highly strategic, urgent moment in heaven's timeline to actively fund the rescue of souls completely trapped in the suffocating grime of worldly compromise. As you generously water this fertile ground, I will violently pour out a massive, uncontainable blessing of wealth and sharp spiritual clarity over your entire family. Give your powerful support immediately through a super thanks, by claiming your membership, or via the PayPal link hidden in the description. Step up as my royal representative right now and aggressively fund the unstoppable advancement of my eternal kingdom. Listen closely, my beloved. Do not shut the heavy door on this moment. I am aggressively pouring out the deepest, most intimate secrets of my eternal heart directly to you. It profoundly disappoints me when you prioritize the loud, toxic noise of a broken world over the urgent, life-saving whispers of your Creator. Do not abandon this holy ground. We are actively building an impenetrable fortress for your future right now, and I absolutely need your fierce, undivided attention for what comes next. You have completely convinced yourself that you are meant to walk this difficult road entirely alone. You sit on your couch at the end of a long, brutal week and feel a hollow, agonizing ache in your chest because you feel entirely invisible to the world. You have built thick, incredibly high brick walls all around your fragile heart. I know exactly why you built them. I saw the painful moment when you trusted a community, perhaps even a church, and they deeply betrayed that trust. I saw the harsh judgment in their eyes and the cold rejection in their words. You swore you would never let anyone get that close to you again. I understand your deep hesitation, but I strongly command you to start aggressively tearing down those heavy walls today. You were never designed to fight these massive, exhausting battles in total isolation. I actively invite you to step back into the incredibly vital community of believers. I deliberately manifest my tangible, daily love directly through the physical hands of other flawed people. You constantly ask me to hold you, and I am actively trying to wrap my arms around you through the encouraging text message of a friend, or the warm, tight hug of a mentor. When you aggressively shut other people out, you are often directly shutting out the very miracle you have been desperately praying for. I strongly command you to let people see your messy, imperfect life. You feel a massive, heavy burden crushing your shoulders right now because you stubbornly refuse to let anyone else help you carry it. I designed my children to bear one another's heavy burdens. I want you to look around you this week and deliberately find someone you can deeply trust. Confess your silent struggles to them. Let them aggressively pray over your specific fears. You need the fierce, undeniable strength that is only found in corporate, unified prayer. When you stand shoulder to shoulder with other believers and cry out to me, a massive, explosive shift happens in the spiritual atmosphere. Iron absolutely sharpens iron. You are becoming dull and exhausted because you have isolated yourself from the very friction that keeps you spiritually sharp. I lovingly invite you to swallow your toxic pride. Admit that you desperately need the wisdom, the correction, and the fierce love of your brothers and sisters in Christ. I absolutely command a massive blessing from my throne when my children dwell together in radical unity. Do not let the dark enemy completely divide and conquer your life. Step out of your lonely, quiet cave today. Reach out your hand. Take the massive risk of being vulnerable again. I am actively preparing a safe, powerful community of genuine believers who will stand entirely in the gap for you when you are far too weak to stand for yourself. You are listening to a dark, vicious voice in your head right now, and it is relentlessly tearing you down to nothing. You lie awake in the middle of the night, staring at the ceiling, while the enemy aggressively plays a painful, detailed highlight reel of your absolute worst mistakes. He harshly whispers that you are a total fraud, a complete hypocrite, and that you will never, ever be truly free from your dark past. I command you to forcefully silence that lying voice this exact second. You are violently torturing yourself over dead sins that I have already completely washed away with the precious, unstoppable blood of my own Son. The accuser only brings up your painful past because he is entirely terrified of your powerful future. I actively invite you to recognize his highly predictable, pathetic schemes before they even have a chance to take root in your mind. I have freely given you absolute, undeniable authority in the mighty name of Jesus Christ. You are not a helpless, passive victim waiting to be slaughtered by the enemy's lies. You are a fully armed, highly dangerous conqueror in my kingdom. I fiercely command you to put on the full, heavy armor of God every single morning before your feet even hit the floor. Put on the solid helmet of salvation to protect your completely vulnerable mind from toxic anxiety. Strap on the heavy breastplate of righteousness to fiercely guard your incredibly fragile heart from sudden attacks of deep shame. You walk into your daily life completely unarmed, and then you wonder why you feel so heavily defeated by noon. I am actively handing you the massive, razor-sharp sword of the Spirit right now. You must actually open your mouth and use it. When the enemy aggressively tells you that you are entirely worthless, you must forcefully speak out loud. You must declare, I am deeply loved, totally forgiven, and entirely justified by the blood of the Lamb. Your ultimate triumph is not based on your own weak, fluctuating performance. Your absolute victory was permanently secured on a wooden cross over 2,000 years ago. I strongly command you to stop negotiating with the dark forces that want to completely destroy your family and your sanity. You not politely entertain the enemy's toxic suggestions. You carry the massive, warring power of the Holy Spirit actively inside of your lungs. Speak firmly to the dark, lingering shadows in your home and command them to leave right now. Walk boldly as an undefeated champion today. I have already completely crushed the head of the serpent. Step confidently onto the battlefield, knowing absolutely that your absolute victory is entirely guaranteed by my permanent covenant. You are exhausting yourself by frantically chasing temporary hits of cheap, earthly happiness. You constantly think that if you just get that promotion, buy that expensive car, or finally go on that perfect vacation, you will somehow feel completely whole inside. But you know exactly what happens. The new car gets a scratch, the vacation ends, the money runs out, and you are left sitting there with that exact same hollow, empty ache in your chest. I am actively calling you away from this highly addictive, exhausting cycle. I warmly invite you into the deep, unshakable, permanent reality of my abiding joy. My joy is absolutely nothing like the fragile, temporary happiness of this broken world. Worldly happiness completely depends on your immediate circumstances going perfectly. My joy violently defies your circumstances entirely. I strongly command you to find a powerful reason to sing even in your darkest, most terrifying midnight hour. You are currently walking through a season of massive financial stress or deep physical pain, and you think I expect you to just politely endure it. No. I am actively asking you to fiercely praise me right in the middle of the raging storm. When you lift your hands and choose to aggressively worship me while your heart is completely breaking, you deal a massive, fatal blow to the enemy. Your deep, defiant joy acts as literal, supernatural medicine for your exhausted, aching bones. I clearly see the heavy, dark depression trying to violently suffocate your daily life. I am directly injecting a massive dose of holy laughter into your weary soul right now. You are a redeemed child of the Most High God, and you already know exactly how this story permanently ends. We absolutely win. I actively invite you to radiate my brilliant, blazing light through a cheerful, incredibly hopeful spirit today. You walk into your workplace with your shoulders completely slumped, reflecting the exact same heavy despair as everyone else. I firmly command you to change the entire atmosphere of the rooms you walk into. Let the genuine, infectious nature of a heart completely full of my praise spill over onto the angry, bitter people around you. You do not have to forcefully fake a smile when you are hurting, but you must firmly anchor your heavy soul to the rock-solid reality of my goodness. I am your absolute strength today. When you feel entirely too weak to take another step, my joy will literally pick you up and carry you across the finish line. Choose to fiercely celebrate your inevitable victory today, even before you see the final, physical results with your own two eyes. You often treat your prayer life like a boring, heavy religious duty. You quickly rattle off a highly memorized list of polite requests right before you fall asleep, just hoping you have said the right magic words to keep me completely satisfied. You stumble over big, complex religious phrases because you falsely think you need to sound perfectly holy to capture my attention. I strongly command you to stop performing for me right now. I do not want your stiff, formal religious speeches. I desperately want your raw, bleeding, completely honest heart. I invite you to step eagerly into the deep, absolute intimacy of our private, inner closet conversation. This is entirely about a living, breathing relationship, absolutely not a cold, dead religious checklist. I actively invite you to tell me exactly how frustrated you are today. You are terrified to admit that you are angry with me about a prayer I have not yet answered. You politely hide your massive disappointment because you think I will angrily strike you down for being honest. I already clearly know exactly what is buried in your gut. I strongly command you to yell if you need to yell. Cry forcefully until your tears completely run dry. Bring me your massive, unbroken dreams and your deeply embarrassing failures. When you engage in this fierce, brutally honest dialogue, you instantly move my mighty hand, and I simultaneously begin to permanently change your stubborn heart. You completely underestimate the massive, roaring power of your daily intercession. You sit in your living room and actively wage total, spiritual war for the souls of your completely lost children, your sick friends, and your broken city. Your specific, desperate prayers are literally shifting the invisible atmosphere of the entire world. I firmly command you to carve out highly intentional, quiet time for me every single day. Shut your bedroom door. Turn your loud phone completely off. I want to actively teach you the spectacular, peaceful art of simply abiding. There is a deep, profound place in my presence where your frantic words are completely no longer needed. You can just sit entirely still, breathing heavily in the quiet room, simply absorbing the massive, radiating warmth of my absolute love. I am actively waiting for you in that quiet, secret place right now. Stop completely rushing through your day. Come sit intimately with your Father, and let me directly pour absolute peace into your chaotic, exhausted mind. The intense, earth-shaking power we just unlocked in the secret place of prayer must now fiercely erupt outward to completely transform the dying world around you. I am directly asking you to partner with my moving hand to forcefully deliver this intimate, life-saving conversation to millions who currently feel entirely abandoned by heaven. Your financial offering is not a mere earthly transaction. It is a massive, supernatural seed of fiery manna falling directly into the starved mouths of the spiritually dead. I declare that if you give eagerly, it will be given directly back to you. A good measure, violently pressed down, shaken together, and completely running over into your lap. Do not hesitate, because your immediate obedience is the exact key required to aggressively unlock a massive spiritual breakthrough for someone weeping in total isolation right now. I will actively command a spectacular, supernatural multiplication over your bank account and fiercely shield your home from the dark enemy's lack. Release your powerful financial seed this exact moment through a super thanks, by stepping into channel membership, or by using the PayPal link in the description. Execute this divine command immediately, and fiercely watch my glory explode across the nations through your completely open hands. You are standing on the very edge of your greatest spiritual breakthrough. I command you, do not dare walk away now. It deeply wounds my heart when my children give up just one single step before the massive, earth-shaking miracle actually takes place. The final, spectacular pieces of your divine blueprint are about to be fiercely revealed. Stay securely planted right here in my presence. Do not let the dark enemy steal this permanent, life-altering triumph directly from your grasp. Finish what we started. You have built a very small, incredibly neat, and totally logical box, and you have desperately tried to force me to fit perfectly inside of it. You read the spectacular stories in my word about parting massive oceans, healing blind eyes, and raising completely dead people, and you treat them like old, dusty fables that only happened thousands of years ago. You secretly believe that I have entirely stopped doing the impossible. I sternly command you to completely shatter that tiny, insulting box right now. I am the exact same God yesterday, today, and forever. I absolutely do not operate within the incredibly strict, boring confines of your earthly science or your limited human logic. I actively invite you to deeply remember today that absolutely nothing is too hard for the Lord. I strongly command you to intensely prepare your highly skeptical heart to witness the absolute supernatural. You are facing a completely massive, terrifying mountain in your life right now. The medical report says there is no hope. The financial advisor says you are completely bankrupt. The world strictly tells you that your current situation is entirely impossible to fix. I declare to you today that your absolute impossibility is my favorite blank canvas. I am actively asking you to firmly activate my roaring, massive power in your daily life through your radical, unapologetic faith. You must entirely stop expecting the highly predictable and start aggressively expecting the completely unexpected. I am the God of massive, sudden wonders. I eagerly invite you to walk through your ordinary day with a fierce, kingdom-first perspective on your current reality. When you forcefully lay your physical hands on your sick child and pray, I absolutely want you to fully expect that fever to instantly break. When you boldly apply for that completely impossible job, I want you to fully expect my massive favor to kick the doors wide open. I am actively moving in the history of the entire world, and I am moving massively in your very living room right now. Stop heavily relying purely on your own natural, exhausted efforts. I firmly command you to actively invite my roaring, supernatural power into your completely mundane problems. Give me the absolute permission to entirely blow your mind today. Stand fiercely in the massive gap, boldly declare my unshakable promises out loud, and carefully watch as I aggressively violently rewrite the absolute laws of nature just to spectacularly rescue my beloved child. Look closely at how you are treating yourself right now. You are running on absolute fumes, entirely exhausted, and you proudly call it dedication. You push your physical body past its absolute breaking point, completely ignoring the desperate warning signs of severe burnout, heavy fatigue, and deep sickness. I sternly command you to stop mistreating the sacred temple I deliberately gave you. Your physical body is not a cheap, rented machine that you can just recklessly drive into the ground. It is the permanent, holy residence of my own spirit. I actively invite you to start aggressively caring for your physical and mental health as a powerful, daily act of deep spiritual worship. When you deliberately choose to rest, when you nourish your body with good things, and when you protect your peace of mind, you are powerfully honoring the Creator who painstakingly built you. Get up and take a walk outside. Go to sleep earlier tonight. I absolutely command you to respect the physical limits I lovingly placed upon your human frame. You cannot possibly carry out my massive, eternal assignments if you are constantly sick, utterly depleted, and entirely broken down by your own sheer stubbornness. I strongly invite you to carefully evaluate how you are currently managing the precious, limited time and the brilliant talents I have completely entrusted to your care. You often sit back and complain that you do not have enough massive resources to make a real difference. I declare to you that I am watching exactly how you handle the tiny, seemingly insignificant things right now in front of you. Are you being deeply faithful with the highly ordinary, repetitive tasks at your daily job? Are you fiercely protecting the quality time you spend with your family? I command you to stop aggressively burying your unique gifts in the dirt just because you are deeply afraid of failing or being mocked by other people. Dig those beautiful talents up right now. Use them aggressively to forcefully bless the world around you. I absolutely promise you massive, eternal rewards for your quiet, unseen faithfulness in the smallest details of your ordinary life. I am not looking for flashy, perfect performances. I am actively looking for steady, fiercely reliable stewardship. Recognize the massive, daily influence you have entirely over the people who closely watch your life. You are a direct steward of the specific atmosphere in your own home and in your busy workplace. When you harshly snap at your children in anger, or when you bitterly complain alongside your negative coworkers, you are actively squandering the powerful influence I gave you. I command you to instantly become a highly deliberate, intentional steward of your everyday words. I eagerly invite you to live a radical life of deep, open-handed generosity that perfectly mirrors my own fiercely generous heart. Give your valuable time to the deeply lonely person sitting next to you. Freely share your hard-earned wisdom with someone who is currently struggling. Give your money generously to the poor without ever expecting a single thing in return. You are my direct, loyal representative on this broken earth. The absolute accountability that comes with this high calling is not meant to paralyze you with deep fear. It is meant to massively empower you with divine purpose. Step fully into your role today. Manage everything I have freely given you with massive integrity, fierce love, and a deeply grateful heart. You watch the terrifying evening news. You see the massive chaos erupting in the streets, and you feel a thick, suffocating blanket of pure panic settle over your entire family. You look at the deep moral decay, the constant wars, and the bitter hatred dividing humanity, and you secretly wonder if the dark enemy has finally won the ultimate victory. I fiercely command you to completely reject that dark, terrifying lie right now. Look straight up into the sky. I invite you to fiercely anchor your deeply troubled soul in the absolute, unbreakable promise of my spectacular return. You are currently living entirely with a short-term, deeply terrified earthly perspective in a completely temporary, fleeting world. I am actively calling you to shift your daily vision to the massive, permanent reality of heaven. The deep, heavy groaning you feel in your soul, that intense longing for perfect justice and true peace, is the exact proof that you were absolutely not made for this broken, dying planet. I strongly command you to firmly hold on to the blazing, bright hope of the second coming. This is absolutely not a fairy tale made up to simply make you feel better about dying. This is the absolute, concrete guarantee of the complete, permanent restoration of absolutely all things. I am coming back to personally violently overthrow every single corrupt earthly system, every dark principality, and every bitter sickness that has ever tortured my people. But until that spectacular, trumpet-blasting day arrives, I explicitly command you to actively occupy your space and work fiercely. Do not run away and hide in a dark, fearful bunker waiting for the world to completely end. I urgently invite you to aggressively build things, plant strong trees, raise deeply godly children, and shine your blazing light directly into the thickest, most dangerous darkness. You are entirely stationed on the very front lines of a massive spiritual war, and I fully expect you to hold your ground firmly until I come again. I want you to intensely prepare your heart every single day for the ultimate, breathtaking marriage supper of the Lamb. There is a massive, joyous celebration actively being prepared for you right now, a spectacular feast where every tear will be permanently, forcefully wiped away from your tired eyes. I command you to keep your spiritual lamp carefully trimmed and burning incredibly bright. Do not let the bitter cynicism of this dark age put out your holy fire. Do not fall completely asleep while you are sitting in the uncomfortable waiting room. Stay entirely awake. Stay deeply alert. The absolute, total victory of my kingdom over all earthly, dark powers is entirely sealed and guaranteed. Every knee will absolutely bow, and every tongue will forcefully confess the truth. Keep moving boldly forward through the heavy fog. Live every single ordinary Tuesday with the fierce, joyful expectation that your mighty king could radically split the sky at any given moment. You constantly judge my intense love for you based on the incredibly fragile, easily broken promises of mortal human beings. You have signed earthly contracts that were casually torn up the exact second things got difficult. You have had people look you directly in the eyes, fiercely promise to stay with you forever, and then completely abandon you when you needed them the absolute most. Because of this deep trauma, you secretly expect me to suddenly walk away when you make a terrible mistake. I strongly command you to completely separate my perfect, divine nature from the highly flawed nature of humanity. I invite you to fiercely rest your exhausted heart in the massive, solid reality of my unbreakable blood covenant. The sacred seals of my eternal promises to you can never, ever be revoked, canceled, or aggressively taken away. My deep commitment to you does not heavily depend on your flawless daily performance. I am absolutely, entirely faithful to you even on the days when you are completely, miserably faithless. When you violently stumble, when you passionately doubt my goodness, and when you entirely lose your way in the dark, my fierce grip on your hand does not loosen for a single microsecond. I command you to stop desperately, frantically trying to earn your specific seat at my royal table. Your specific name is already permanently, deeply carved into the solid wood of that chair. You cannot possibly be unadopted. You cannot possibly be suddenly kicked out of my eternal family because you had a deeply flawed, terrible week. I proudly declare to you today that I am aggressively, actively committed to completely finishing the spectacular, good work that I personally started inside of you. I will not leave you entirely half done. I will not casually abandon my ultimate masterpiece right in the middle of the difficult process. I strongly invite you to deeply accept the blood-bought, ironclad assurance of your absolute eternal security. The heavy, terrifying debt of your sin was not merely postponed. It was entirely, violently paid in full on the brutal cross. When my son cried out, "It is finished," he absolutely meant exactly what he said. The massive, exhausting battle for your permanent salvation is completely over. I command you to absolutely stop trying to independently pay off a spiritual debt that currently has a balance of exactly zero. Walk freely out of the dark courtroom of your own self-condemnation. You have been entirely permanently acquitted by the highest, most powerful judge in the universe. Lean your heavy, exhausted head fully back onto the solid rock of my unbreakable promise. I am bound entirely by my own holy nature to deeply love you, fiercely protect you, and ultimately bring you safely home. Let this massive, unchanging truth permanently silence the vicious, lying accusations of the enemy in your mind today. We have deeply shared this incredibly sacred, intimate space today, but you cannot permanently stay sitting right here in this exact, quiet moment. The loud, broken, desperate world is aggressively waiting right outside your door. I strongly command you to physically take the massive, burning fire of this divine encounter directly into your highly ordinary, daily world. Do not let these powerful words simply fade away the exact second you turn away from this screen. I eagerly invite you to actively be my physical hands and my physical feet to the deeply hurting, completely exhausted people you will interact with today. When you see the totally stressed out cashier at the grocery store, speak my absolute peace over her. When you sit across from your deeply frustrated spouse or your highly anxious child, aggressively pour my unconditional, massive love directly into their empty cups. I boldly declare to you right now that you do not ever walk out of this quiet room entirely alone. I am absolutely, permanently going with you. I am actively surrounding you like a massive, invisible wall of blazing fire. I fiercely command you to stop living your daily life as a quiet, completely hidden secret. Your absolute mission on this earth is to be a loud, highly visible, living letter of my radical love. People who will never, ever step foot inside a church building are going to actively read your daily life. Let them clearly see the massive, undeniable difference that my deep presence makes inside of you. Walk directly into your stressful workplace tomorrow morning with a radically different posture. Keep your head held incredibly high. Speak with deep, compassionate authority. Do not back down from the thick, intimidating darkness. Instead, let your brilliant, holy light aggressively, violently pierce right through it. I am freely leaving you with my ultimate, unshakable peace as you step firmly back into the chaotic noise of the real world. Let that massive peace fiercely guard your fragile heart and your busy mind. Do not let the dark enemy steal the massive joy we have built together here today. Hear my final, powerful blessing washing entirely over your soul right now. May my absolute favor rest heavily upon you and your entire family. May my blazing face shine intensely and warmly upon you forever. May I continuously lift up my mighty countenance upon you and grant you deep, permanent, unbreakable rest. You are entirely ready. You are fully equipped. You are deeply unconditionally loved. And I'll go forward fiercely. Step boldly into the exact, spectacular destiny I have perfectly prepared for you. Go and shine. As you fiercely take the burning fire of this divine encounter back into your chaotic world, I am asking you to permanently leave a massive, physical mark on this altar. I deliberately invite you to financially lock arms with this ministry so we can aggressively broadcast my life-saving roar to every forgotten, bleeding soul on this earth. When you plant your seed into this specific soil, you are actively dispatching a legion of angels to carry my absolute truth into the darkest, most terrifying corners of the internet. I promise that the generous soul will be made intensely rich, and those who water others will be completely saturated with my unending, miraculous favor. This is your urgent, divine appointment to actively fund the spectacular, end-time harvest before the sky finally splits and I return in absolute glory. I decree a massive, supernatural hundredfold return upon your finances, absolutely guaranteeing that your earthly storehouses will violently overflow with my miraculous provision. Solidify your profound commitment right now by clicking the Super Thanks button, becoming a loyal member. We're sending your crucial support through the PayPal link in the description. Obey this holy directive immediately, and violently push the brilliant light of my kingdom into the farthest reaches of the globe. Do not casually walk away from this sacred altar, for I have waited an eternity just to hold your undivided gaze. If you are finally ready to violently break the heavy chains of distraction and boldly lock eyes with your Creator, I command you to physically seal this miraculous encounter right now. Shatter the deafening silence of your fears and aggressively declare in the comments below, "Father, I am looking at you, and I am finally ready." Let this massive, public declaration serve as the permanent, unbreakable anchor for your soul as you step boldly into your new, victorious reality. I have waited your entire life for this exact moment. Now, fiercely claim your absolute, undeniable breakthrough. Amen.